Okay, I'm back.
I'm back. There's a naked picture of Monster in the chat, by the way.
Nice. Is Anthony with us? It's he's muted. Okay, cool. Coolio. I will launch up the music. Streamo for those of us who care about that stuff. And is Nick back yet?
I'm here.
Cool. You good, or do you need some time still?
Yeah, I'm good. I fixed it. My new password couldn't be my old password, apparently, so I messed up somewhere.
Oh. I hate it when that happens.
Oh. I can only do so many variations.
That's why my password is just like the next iteration of Lorem Ipsum, if you know what I'm saying.
No.
No? It's like filler text. Garbage Latin. Lorian, say something, I know you're here.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. I am done university. I'm in a good mood. And everything seems to be running, so I will get us hopped in and immersed. Music should be running now, yeah?
1 sec, let me pop in, Daddy-o.
Cool. A crowd gathers in the streets of the Sigil District this evening. The Students' Magic Club at the Crystal Chateau put on a public display of illusion magics and pyrotechnics. Some folk climb onto rooftops, hoping to get a better view of the fireworks. You see kids on their parents' shoulders, other folk crammed together in the campus grounds. Some youth climb the boughs of the Wild Mother to gain vantage points. The audience exclaim excitedly at the marvelous display of swirling, spiraling illuminations. The skies being illuminated with their thousands of sparks that tumble down like scarlet waterfalls and glitter like silver showers. The spells, coil, jets, spin, whirl, burst, splatter, scatter and whiz all throughout in dazzling display of shimmer and glow. The mood tonight is that of excitement and thrill as you take a moment to collect your thoughts and plan for what's ahead. What is in store for Fate's fortune tonight?
Well, just two. Sorry, I was just going to say that while this is all going on, you notice that for once Riot is not joining in with the celebrations. He's still very much in mourning from what they've heard, wandering around the garden.
Well, we can't dwell on everything for too long, though I share your pain. We'll have to act a little bit more according next time. Like how I said, we kind of let greed get in the way of our decision making. But let's take this time, think upon it, and then try to enjoy these festivities. We're only going to be here for so long. Who knows where we'll end up in the next week or so. If anything, we might end up... Well, I'd hate to... Don't even really want to say it, but... Come on, maybe we can jump in. Or just, relax under the tree here. Maybe get some carry-out food. I'm fucking starving, yo.
Street vendors sell all sorts of food. You see kebabs and a odd stall that even sells the spiced frog meat. All matter of exotics and a little bit of taste of home all the way from the Ridge District, carried here from the skyships. Among the food stalls, you also see a gnomish merchant selling what looks to be an area of fireworks. Confetti, glitter, sparkle sticks, firecrackers, wands of the pyrotechnic, and shining gem fabrials fitted for the hand to channel magics of all sorts of dazzling spectacle. Right, fizzbang crystals hang on the stall ends by strings displaying their luminosity. All manner of magical knickknacks.
I definitely want to get some food, local cuisine, if there's like some street vendors nearby.
Sure is.
Those, food caravans.
Yeah.
Are you looking for something a little taste of home or something more like local?
No, local, like just all
Gotcha.
foreign to me, so whatever they have, little bit of everything, like small amount of everything, like on a plate or some dish or something.
Yeah, for sure. Let me see here what they got here for ya. 2 seconds. You see Stan selling this like working class dish made of rice, white beans, and seafood, like a sort of a stir fry of rice, a paella, if you will. Little plantain cups, a sweet, savory dish of fried plantain stuffed with like meat and rice. Gazpacho, this cold soup served on a hot day such as this, even now at the lingering hours of twilight. It's still sort of like that lingering hotness of the desert coming in. This gazpacho made from like pounded vegetables and fruit, very refreshing. Honey flame bread, this fried dessert soaked in honey and coated in like this Marquesian spice, giving it a very sweet and spicy amalgamation. Fusaka fish spiced, cutlets smothered in Marquesian spice and fried in oil. Snake lock noodles, Queen's water, black sand coffee, all sorts of very local cuisine types for the cheap price of 5 silver pieces that you might enjoy.
I will take that. That sounds all delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And I will mark 5 silver.
All complemented with this like soft drink made from this like syrupy honey, kind of guava mix with tamarind. Very much fruity, sweet spice is the sort of theme going on here.
I'll buy a plate for myself, and then kind of like carrying everything. I'll buy another plate for Riot since he's sitting on the bench, just in case.
Sure. Everybody else, what you doing?
I don't know where their street vendors are at, but I'll say they're over here.
Yeah, we don't do it in combat, so it's sort of like a theater from mind here, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll get some of that food too. Nothing in particular, but I do want to try some more of the local cuisine.
Sure.
So,
along with like this like tiny shot of coffee, which you wonder if you should have it at this time of night, but people seem to be out and about. Just brewed coffee on top of like will be a pile of red hot sand and coal sort of intermixed, very much Marquesian style. If you ever had Turkish coffee, it's strong. It's nice and succulent. You see a stand selling like weird like sea anemone, like they're like tendrils coated in like honey batter and this just amalgamation of seafood that's delicately fried.
A little bit of that coffee.
Yeah.
When in
coffee and seafood. Yeah. Makes you wonder where to get it from this far away from water, but perhaps by discussion.
And then I do want to check out. Did I hear you guys? I heard a fireworks stand. Are they selling?
Yeah,
fireworks?
As you approach what the stand looks like, a banner has been set up, really colorful like. Reads, Bomb Fuzzle Kindle Sparks Fireworks. This gnomish merchant, dressed in what appears to be the uniform of the university, these green vestments with a little bit of like that rainbow bedazzle to it. Just for the sake of festivities, he sells all manner of like confetti, glitter bags, sparkle sticks, firecrackers, and in an area of these like intricate wands that look to be made like almost like a kid's toy, if you will, but very much magically effective. A wand of pyrotechnics and a more arcade-enhanced version of that item, which is like a fabrial. You see, it's a series of gemstones worn on the hand, secured by a bunch of chains to really ornament the hand, and is used as a spell focus. This is an actual little project of the university that they're now selling to the public, used to channel the pyrotechnic spell if you wish to sort of have a more permanent version of this item for the future. Other than that, sort of the speciality of the stand looked to be an area of pick your own bag of these tiny fizzbang crystals. They're about 2 inches maybe in length, of varying color. You see they're set up in different bowls, anywhere from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, white, black. And it seems that you just grab a bag, pick like, say 10. For 10 gold pieces, you get to grab them, and they all have like different like sort of effects when thrown. Along the lines of plumes of harmless fire, flashes of light, if you find that sort of thing useful.
Yeah, I'll pick up. You said 10 gold pieces for the fizzbang crystals.
Yeah, these.
And then how much for the sparkle sticks or that wand of pyro?
Oh, 1 silver piece each. Yeah.
All right. And then what about the wand? What does the wand do? Is it just like literally just like a magical firework that gets shot in the air?
Sort of, yeah. It is. It holds a few charges, which gets recharges per dawn. Sort of how the weave works of magic, and you can set off this flare up in the air that whiz bangs as loud as like pretty much thunder, very much audible. Of pyrotech. I'm just spelling it out so I can show you the little handout for it. There we go. This is how it works. 7 charges. While holding, you can use an action to expend one of its charges to create a harmless burst of multicolored light at a point you can see within 60 feet of you. It bangs loudly. There's a brief flash of light, as bright as a torch flame, and once expanded, it needs to recharge. It sells for 50 gold pieces. 50.
I'll get. I'll pass on the wand, but I'll
No
get
problem.
about 10 of those sparkle sticks.
Sure thing. And in terms of the fizzbang crystal, I'm going to paste it in chat just because it's my own little homebrew item here. I'm going to have you pick your own bag. This Wanderer's Iron comes in multicolored crystals that are usually purchased in the small bag as I've described. When you have this crystal as an action, you can throw it against like a solid surface. And when it breaks, the sensory effect triggers. I'll sell you 10 because that's the sort of standard array that this item comes in. Go ahead and roll me 10 d8s. This will deter, or you can. Well, this is like you can pick like randomly, or you can just like pick colors as you want. They come in 8 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, white, black.
And each color does something different. I want an assortment. I don't care. I'll make it random if needed.
Sure. So we can say you grab one of each just for the sake of flavor, and then like 2 more. Just what's your favorite color?
Let's go with green,
Sure.
and yellow.
Sure. So 2 green, 2 yellow, and then 1 of each other color, which will be red, orange, blue, purple, white, black. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I want you to track these. Once they're consumed, they're broken, right? And they sort of all do different things.
But I don't know what they do.
Would you like to know, or would you like to keep it a surprise? Up to you.
I mean, if they know right then and there, like if this is something that there's like a sign that says, "Oh, this is what each color does," then sure.
There's no sign.
Okay.
This is more like kind of like going to like have you ever been to like a mystery room or like a puzzle room or whatever? In the spirit of like keeping a secret among the other customers and clientele, they don't really tell, but they'll tell you if you really want to know, right? They'll just ask you to keep it a secret.
It'll be a surprise for everybody.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what I do at the stand. I'll give somebody else a turn to say what they're doing.
Sure thing.
What's Julian doing?
Yeah.
Are people dressed differently for this festival?
Not really. People might have come home from work to change to more like streetwear, but you seem to be melding with a more affluent crowd. Everybody in Marquette, in general, dresses very in those light silks or desert wear that's very colorful and flamboyant. It's not a uniform festival per se. It's just a little celebration that the university threw, seemingly out of nowhere, really, just to please the crowd.
And Elena bought a spicy fruit cup.
Yeah, along the many of the dishes being sold here is this gazpacho, a cold soup served on hot days made from pounded vegetables and fruits. There's an area of other foods if you're looking for something more local or something from your homeland, perhaps.
I'll try the fruit cup.
Sure. It is, again, that's sweet, maybe even a little bit of savory flavor, amalgamated with an aftertaste of spice. Spice seems to be a reigning theme of the cuisine in Marquette. Fair enough. What's going on over there with Riot? Oh, go ahead.
I'll ask Rashid, what's this festival for?
She informs you that from time to time, say every 2 weeks or so, neophyte graduates, so to speak, who have joined an introductory course in magic, get to celebrate their progress by showing off their recent magics, and the university sort of figured that in very much the theme of Marquette, for everybody must be pleased, to give back to the crowd. As I mentioned before, the Terrace Schoolhouse does offer their education for free to anybody who wishes to begin to learn magics. And indeed, sort of looking around at the casters throughout, you can see that it's an area of cantrips that appears pleasing to the eye, maybe some illusory magic, but nothing an archmage would cast.
Gotcha.
Coming back with the heaps of food in my arms, it's like kind of a little hard to like kind of carry everything like with two hands. It's all kind of crunched in, and she has like a piece of bread like in her mouth and everything, so she has to kind of like talk with like a muffled speech. Excuse me. She comes up and just starts setting food down on Riot's lap, and it threw a muffled sound and everything. She's like, "Oh, I got this for you," and just kind of starts setting it all down. She kind of puts the bread like down on a plate, kind of like drops it with her mouth. Come on, a little bit of food is good for the soul after everything we've gone through. It's better than these berries. She needs something a little bit with more consistency.
Riot is currently staring at the tree, but when you walk over, his eyes will look up at you. His ears are down, and it almost looks like his eyes are a little bit clouded. His hands are just held out on his lap, and as food is dropped down, he seems to put his paws around it. He speaks in a very soft tone, not usual for him. "You are right. I probably need to eat. It's just hard to think about everything that I can't do to help home. It's all I wish to do right now is to help others, help create rather than destroy. I feel useless. Something I'm not used to feeling. And it's a cause that perhaps could have been prevented from everything we now know, but I just want us to do better, to not go down a path that we could regret. Even with all the sounds of fireworks and music and noise around him, Riot seems to be lost in his own little world, though smelling the seafood rice paella, his nose does seem to twitch a little bit and look down at it.
You feel a little something skitter up your sleeve from your inner pockets toward the food shimmer. The little golden bug shares a meal with you as well.
Well, if I had the chance, I would, and if the powers ever allowed me to, I would have gone back in time and try to change our actions then. But unfortunately, I'm so limited. That's why I want to go find Elixion. to have the Apatheon back here, there has to be something that we can tap into. Something that can rebind this world and not have it be so fragmented. But there's others who have the powers to send messages across long distances. I'm sure there's someone here in the Allsight, or excuse me, Allegiance of Allsight, and I know for a fact that it's even possible with even members within the library. But I wouldn't lose too much hope. We can still reach out to them.
Right, we'll push some food over to Shimmer as he's listening to Melina. Then perhaps we should go to the library and check in with them. I'm terrible at finding and researching stuff, but I do wish to meet the Emperor of this land and ask him a few questions. Perhaps there's a book on him, or to gain a little knowledge before I go and ask for a meeting. I don't know if anybody else would like to join for the meeting, but...
I mean, it's not every day you get to meet royalty, so I would be up for it. Go ahead, Julian.
When are you planning to do this?
Soon. We only got the kind of the little letter today after we handed the marble statue back. But before I go and stand in front of someone of power that I've never understood or even taken a gleam of someone's strength, I would like to get to know who I'm about to talk to before I go and talk to them, rather than actually making a wrong step and causing an issue that could cause us to get thrown in jail.
Good foresight.
But I'm curious. They're named the Hand of Ord, and I'm curious about what kind of leader this is, and if he's reigned for a long time, or perhaps he might even... We don't need to show him what we have, but perhaps he has heard the name Elixion before as well. He could be another avenue of information, depending on how knowledgeable he may be.
Perhaps.
It seems like every...
Right.
Oh, go ahead.
Zeno comes over, because I would have joined at the beginning of that conversation. Hearing Riot and Melina talk about things that can't be changed. So, talking to Riot, trust me, I know how it feels to have one's home destroyed. And the best you can do is learn from the experience. Hope that your family and friends are well. But I agree, yeah, we should do better. And it's not too unfair to assume a little bit of responsibility for what happened. But as long as we grow and learn from our lessons, I think we will do better. Will you, Riot, roll me a D100?
D100?
Yeah.
Okay.
I use divine intervention.
I'm the DM now.
18!
Yeah, no.
As a wise man once told me, one mark of a great soldier is that he fights on his own terms, or fights not at all. And then with that, he just starts eating.
Dude made a D100 table of Sensu quotes.
Jesus.
Anthony
Dedication.
Anthony gets inspiration. That's awesome.
That's pretty funny.
Some good stuff. What did you end up saying? What was the sentence you said?
Chad, because I don't even know what I just said.
Basically, you told Riot to essentially figure out when he wants to fight and then fight on his own terms, or just not at all. And basically, in Riot's anger and rage right now that he's feeling, he wants to kill the person who actually did this. But he doesn't say that, but that's how he feels.
Out of character. Technically, we'd be killing ourselves at that point. Cause
Yeah,
we
we're
No,
gonna do
he
it.
wants to kill the person who casted the scroll.
I know, no,
okay.
I know what you
Riot,
meant.
I'm
but
all with you. I completely agree with
Until you
where
said
right,
that.
with where you point the blame.
How you said that? I thought you wanted to kill Julian, and I was like,
Well, I'm trying trying to not point fingers at Julian right now. Trust
It's
me,
all of us, though.
it's all of us because it was all an agreement. But eyes lingered on Julian with like a glare. No, I'm kidding. No, he wants to kill. Like he doesn't say it, but from the reaction of the words, you can tell that he's focusing on the idea of the person who probably cast it and want to know where his whereabouts.
Okay. Melina, can you roll me a wisdom save?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Right. Or,
Okay, thanks.
I'm really sorry about how things turned out for you. I never once imagined that something like this could happen. You know, I've been working within the business that I did for 10 years. Never once did those actions come back to haunt me later without me having to get caught first.
Oh, it's happened a few times for those I've worked with. I've seen firsthand people get caught from the actions they've done. I've seen them lose hands in their lives. I personally have never been caught with my foot into a trap, but it feels like this time I was caught in this one. And as soon as I can find somebody that can send a message back to the one that I've always listened to, just to know if he's alright and if everybody else is as well. If I can know my family's okay, then I'll do better. There was many other ways to get into that building and take what you wanted besides destroying everything that's around it and itself. Even our group has done it before, but no, not this destruction.
Can't imagine what you're going through right now, having lost the place where you were raised. If you need anything, let me know. Let us know.
I think I need to meditate at some point near some nature and tree and see if I can speak to Molara just at some point.
As
Leah's
the
still
Mhm.
just kind of stuffing her face a little bit and just listening to the conversation and just bouncing little small things back and forth. I think that's all I have for right now. I'm trying to think.
Well, I know one thing that might cheer you up, Riot. Hands him a couple of those sparklers. Here. Perhaps something shiny might brighten your depression.
On a more serious note, Julian lowers his voice, looks over his shoulders again real quick. He
Mhm.
says, I'm thinking of tonight trying to follow the red stuff trail. I think that could lead us towards the ruins. Whoever's harvesting them must have some kind of access, if not deep into the ruins, at least know where the entrance is.
But you want to go down into the pit?
No, I don't want to go into the pit. I just want to find the person who is collecting the red stuff and make a deal with them to lead us to the entrance.
Hold on,
I'm not
thinking
understanding. I don't
yeah,
know what you mean.
am I
Are you
missing
talking
something
about?
in chat?
Are you talking about something like underground sketchy trail of red stuff? Or are you talking about
Yes.
through the Allegiance of All Sites official channels?
Talking about underground, the underground business around here.
As opposed to, I mean, I feel like we could just go through the Allegiance of All Site to get direct escorted access to the front door.
You think so?
If we ask, yeah, if we play our cards right, like we have a better chance with them. We've already established a rapport.
We have the rapport and we gain their trust within a few days' time. They'll be sending us formal letters of recognition and adopting us into their ranks. mean, we have the resources within their libraries and halls and everything. I mean, we've only just begun this little chase and everything, but perhaps these paths are going to merge into one. I mean, is there something specific that you're looking for?
I know when they come back and they offer, I know I will accept joining the All Sight, just so everybody does know. So if nobody else wishes to join them, I can be the liaison towards the All Sight.
What makes you want to join them? Like, I'm curious, why?
I wish to make this area, in a way, my home and temple in Ank'Harel, and also being a part of them, sharing knowledge, their assistance. It seems like it almost goes hand in hand. I'm curious and I wish to help, and they have knowledge that I don't know. And to be honest, any knowledge I gain will help further my tribe back home. It is something that Tabaxis do. We try to learn to help further our own tribe. I believe that they are good, even though there might be corruption within them. I believe that making friends in an area that you wish to have a home is also something that's very needed in such a large city that, as we see when we first got here, chaos. First, when we went to the bazaar, when we went to get that marble, then we went to the Life Dome and we were ambushed. Who's saying that tonight, even if we did go off to search for something, that we wouldn't be jumped? Having a place that is safety, kind of like in Melina with the Cobalt Soul, it just seems very, I guess the word would be smart, perhaps?
We also do know that we're being followed, that someone is someone is, for a fact, scrying on us, involving ourselves with possible illegal activities or being where we shouldn't, depending on whoever's spying. That could put us in a hot plate.
Speaking of spying, is Nia with us? I don't remember if she's with us.
In spirit,
Okay.
yeah.
No,
She's no longer drunk.
the character, not the player, the character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh fuck, excuse me. I aspirated.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Getting some of that firework smoke in your lungs.
Yeah, exactly. Point that over somewhere else. No, question about the joining the factions and everything. If we already belong to a faction, we're allowed to be a part of other factions, or does the library say like, no, you are dedicated to us? You know, you cannot. You know, like you can be an honorary member, quote unquote, but you can't be a part of another place because it's conflicting.
Nothing stops you from joining another faction, and even as an expositor, your job's to be a double agent. If you think about it.
Yeah, I was just making sure.
You were like talking about doing what's safe, and that's understandable. But at the same time, as an expositor, if not you, many expositors do infiltrate other factions all the time. But in general, no, nothing stops you from working both with the Allegiance, with the Cobalt Soul, even with the Vermilion Dream, if you so wish.
Yeah. Okay.
And this above the table goes beyond in terms of in this party. Anybody can join anybody. Like you don't have to. It doesn't have to be a uniform decision. It's better when it is, but if you wish to pursue certain avenues that the rest of your party cannot, because of one reason or another, feel free.
I was just making sure. I didn't know if there was like a game mechanic. Be like, oh, well, if you join this faction here in this place, you have to renounce this and your whatever. I didn't know.
It will be an in-lore mechanic, and that doesn't exist. Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, if you think about it logically, would the Vermilion Dream be okay with you working with a faction they're opposing? No, but you don't have to tell them.
Yeah.
That's where deceit and coercion and all that stuff that's Julian's speciality comes in.
bouncing up what Riot said, I would be nodding my head in agreement. But yeah, it would be beneficial to be a part of these organizations. You have the backing of them. You have the knowledge. They're prominent. There's a lot to be gained from them. But looking back to Julian, like, is there something specific that you were looking for, or is there a reason why you want to do this tonight, per se?
It seemed like a lead. We went to the Life Dome to look for a lead and we didn't find anything. We don't really have any other leads at the moment. It'll be nice to have the Allegiance resources. I figure there's we know that the red stuff is making waves of sorts in the underground markets. It's coming from someone is harvesting it. It's coming from the ruined city, so someone has access to it. Seemed like it would be a good idea to that could be a way to find it.
If you remember, Vermilion Dream has been harvesting it. Eloisia said it herself.
Okay.
Repeat that, right?
The Vermilion Dream has been harvesting it.
Hmm.
Eloisia herself said it, and if you remember, around Neem's neck, there was a piece of ruidium. And underneath, hidden on Eloisia's hand, there was a golden bracelet or contraption that hooked into her fingers. And there was a bright red stone on it that looked very similar to Neem's.
Oh, yeah, that's a good reminder. Julian, I'm certainly not against finding paths and finding options. It'd be good to know if we can, or if you can find some sort of real lead for this underground market. But overall, right now, I think the easiest approach is going through the Allegiance. Either way, it's nice to know what our options are, so it might be worth pursuing that avenue just to see.
I understand.
And just a small warning, something else that I remember Eloisia said. Ruidium, used as a focus, can amplify one's magic at a cost. So, if we ever do run into her, a spell she casts for somebody who's normal might actually hurt more, or be more dangerous.
Okay.
Well, if we are to cross paths with her, we need to shut her down immediately. That's where my
Imagine.
attention will go.
We can do with Ruidium Bonfire.
As you guys continue the conversation, you momentarily look up at the night sky where, by the light of the various fireworks, a silhouette illuminates the sky, a giant flying object, a skyship. Usual sight for Ankarel, but this one seems familiar to you. The storm's horizon has arrived to Ankarel at last after completing its 8-day journey from Bazzoxan. It slowly wades its way, trailing behind an arcane trail of blue arcana from the brimstone at its hindquarters as it docks its way to the ridge district, slowly lowering itself. As the conversation goes on, you watch it sort of sail by and make port.
It seems like Sura's body has found its way home.
Yeah, I'll immediately go to the library. They'll try to resurrect if they have the means to. Stop in there tomorrow. With the returning of her body, and with us being in town already, we've had the time to kind of get our feet wet in the city here. It'd be good to go check in with them, do everything in one day.
Your question would like to talk to you as well.
Yeah, the curator there. What's the curator's name again?
The
What?
High Curator?
Yeah, in this town, or in Inkarel.
In
I can't remember, the
Inkarel?
one that we were going to meet.
His name is... one moment, I have it here. Jamil... I just want to mispronounce his last name. Jamil Alithia. Spelled like this, if you don't have any notes for it or whatever reason. Jamil Alithia. From what you've heard from the other branches, all the way in Wildmount, Jamila Alithia has made somewhat of a reputation of himself, being one of the youngest high curators to ever take the position of the monastic curator of Ankarel in all of the history of the Cobalt Soul. And it's a very long history. At the age, very ripe, of 29, he has achieved the top position in Ankarel. And from what you've heard, he's often underestimated by his contemporaries, and even your high curator not so much spoke ill of him, but just with some skepticism, due to the fact of his age and this sort of unexpected advantage.
Yeah. Well, it'd be nice to pick his brain, and I'm sure he'd want to hear what we have to say and his findings. He might have a little bit of insight to what we might be looking for as well. As far as following the red dust and
Maybe.
ruidium. What was I gonna say? I can't remember.
Something about Sura's body, the ship.
Oh yeah, well they're returning, so might as well just do everything. It'd just be a good time to check in with everything. The timing aligns.
Would you like to rest this night before you pursue all those different paths you've just discussed?
No.
Okay.
Speaking, while the festivities are kind of going on, we're all kind of just taking in the atmosphere and maybe just a little bit of silence and everything. I'll turn to Zeno and say, what is it, or excuse me, you spoke of it earlier about losing your home, but I mean, what do you plan to do here now, other than be on this journey with us? Do you have any ambitions of bringing back your order, rebuilding, or just being a lone wolf, per se? No pun intended.
I thought about rebuilding my order. I'm not sure. It's definitely an idea. Hasn't left my mind. It would be the right thing to do. But if I'm going to do that, it's a course that I really needed to dedicate myself to. First, finding essentially a pupil, somebody willing, and not only willing, but capable of passing through the rite. And then I would need to be by their side, train them, teach them, learn, hold their hand through the taming.
Slowly becoming Yoda there.
It's not something I can just easily jump into if I'm going to do it, and I will do it right. So it's on my mind, but right now, this Elixion, this calling, at the moment, this is my path. So once this path comes to an end, perhaps that's the route I'll go. Maybe sometime before this path ends, I'm not sure, but at this moment, rebuilding my order isn't the right choice. I have to see this one through.
Of course. I mean, it takes time and everything. With everything happening, I mean, if this is all to go the way that we hope it does, and we all walk out of here unscathed, I mean, you still have many years before you. You'll outlive some of us here. So you'll have the time to rebuild. Maybe make an order, something unique, or something intertwined with the others of your order. It'd be interesting to see. Soren, if you ever needed for guidance, he looks like he just came back into town. If there's anything there, I actually wouldn't mind hearing some of their history and everything.
I do plan on speaking with Soren, at least nothing, if nothing else, asking him to keep an eye out, an ear out for others of my order. He seems to travel quite a bit, so maybe I could use him as a means to spread word try and find some of my old comrades. But perhaps I'll talk with them tomorrow or within a few days. I imagine that skyship's going to be around for a little bit.
Yeah, they'll probably have to refuel and restock and everything, so we'll have a little bit of time. There's so much to do here. I feel like we're already getting overloaded. But you say that this is your path, and this is a noble one to be on. There's so much that's interesting. We've all been traveling with each other for some time, but what specifically about this? Why are you here, like, staying with it? Is it your god? I can't say that name.
Sahinine.
Yeah, Sahinine.
Moonweaver.
That is, yeah, Moonweaver. That's guiding you? Is she the one that wants you to be here? Or is there something more? Is there something deeper, personal that you want from this?
I wouldn't say that there's something deeper I want personally. More, it sort of feels like it was put before me, as if it was my destiny. First, whenever I met all of you at the fork in the road, the crossing, I forget the name of the crossing.
Emerald Loop.
The Emerald Loop. When I first met you and you were heading to Bazaxan, and as soon as we got there, it was just, it had to be more than coincidence that the symbols on the city matched and aligned with this journal. And he pulls out the journal, though it has changed. And we entered Betrayer's Rise, which I really believe that was the source of those Gloomstalkers that destroyed my place, my home. We got through that, and I feel far more at peace when I essentially let go of the journal. It was the last bit of my history that I was holding on to, lingering onto, and it was almost like a purging, it feels like. And shortly after that is when the Moonweaver essentially began reaching out to me. So it feels like this is the right course for me to be on. I'm not necessarily trying to get anything out of it or attain anything. I feel like I need to see this through and meet this Elixion. Everything is guiding me towards this champion from the Calamity. I feel I need to meet this person, or at least ask questions. I don't know, or maybe this Elixion has answers for questions I have yet to ask. So right now, that's why I'm here with all of you. I feel like this is the right path to be on.
What about the rest of you? Looking over at Julian.
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question?
So after spending time with each other and everything, other than, like, we have this item, this vestige, but what is it that you personally hope to obtain from being here with the rest of the group? What are you trying to achieve by staying on this, mission per se, this noble quest?
Obtain? I didn't think that I would obtain anything. It sounds like in the past, every hero that's been on this path has been forgotten. But I'm concerned. But it sounds like this is a path that I was led onto. I don't know if it was by destiny or fate, or if I just happened to walk across it. But I'm concerned with the ending of the world. Don't want that to happen.
There she is. Well, I pray that the world doesn't have to end either, but due to your business with otherworldly entities, I'm hoping that there's not any underlying suspicions or something that we would need to be aware of. What we're tracking is something very powerful, And being aware of who you serve, in a way, is just curious.
How do we know, Julian, respectfully, that your end goal isn't to further empower your patron?
Well, I haven't seen my patron in years, at least not face to face. I don't. He rarely asks things of me.
Give me 1 second. I'm reading over something. Um.
Well, just know you're essentially asking us to just trust you on your word.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
I think after everything we've been through, I should be deserving of your trust. Same way you trust Grizz within meeting him just yesterday.
Sometimes that can only go so far. Not saying that we don't trust you or that I don't trust you. Just understand that we all are aware of who you serve, and whether you are acting on your free will at this moment, you may not be in the future. And we have to be aware of that.
If you say so.
What I can say about patrons and the following of whenever you choose, they can cause great pain to one's person and psyche. But from everything I've known, they can't physically take control of your body. Depending on your connection, depending if you listen to him or not, depending on whatever he might ask, things can turn out well for you or poorly. I don't know who he is. All I can tell you is from what I've learned from when I was with the Traveler. We all trust you to tell us the dreams you will have. We trust that you will keep us safe as we keep you safe. But I guess sometimes it's hard to know a motive of the creature that you are connected to, is perhaps the best way to put it. If that makes sense, Lorian. Or Julian, sorry.
If you say so.
But as for my reason to be here, it's a rather simple one. Druids are the keepers of the earth. We are the ones that take care of nature. And whatever's occurring seems to be a large shift. And it feels like someone of my faith should be here and be a part of it. I don't think I'm a major player. I don't do the most damage. I don't create amazing spells. But I am much more of a guide, I feel, towards this group. A guide to where we might need to go. A guide through the desert we're probably going to have to cross, or I really hope not going underwater. But wherever we go, I'll be there to try to show the way.
What do you mean by a guide and show us the way? I'm having trouble following you, right?
You can read stars now.
I could read stars a while ago.
Are we talking metaphorically or literally showing us through cartography?
I mean, when we are in nature, I will have the best way of guiding us to the point where we need to be if we're lost. I will be able to get us out of tricky situations, perhaps, given the fact that I grew up on the road. I grew up in nature. I grew up in the wild. Cities I don't understand as much as I do understand being outside.
Navigation. I follow.
Is that the word they use? I think that's my role.
Are you back, Nick?
Yeah, sorry. I've been back. I was just
Melina,
reading stuff.
Melina, you had started asking all of us why we're here, why we're on this journey, why we all stick together to see through with this Elixion. What's your answer? Why are you here?
Well, first, I'm not strong enough to do this entirely by myself. I need capable people to uncover these secrets, these mysteries that lay deep within this earth. From everything from the calamity, I want to find it and preserve it. The good and the bad, we need to learn from history. He who holds the, or fuck, what's the quote? I'm trying to quote. He who controls the past can control the future. And if any of these Vermilion Dream, even back in the Empire, the Cerberus Assembly, were to get their hands on some of these items, this knowledge, they could warp and twist the minds of their followers and create a schism in this world. I want to know that this world is still living, that it's not going to get ripped apart. With the Empire and the war going on with the Kryn, I've seen it firsthand. It's horrible. We know the gods are here and that they're with us on this world. I mean, we're their children. They've created us from the beginning of time, but they don't walk among us. We're able to communicate with them, but they're not here. Elixion he was able to communicate with them, ask for their help, and they gave it to him. Not once, twice, 3 times. He helped save Ankarel, but at the loss of Kalmaro, he was able to deflect a spear from a god, Grumish. I can't imagine the amount of questions I would even want to ask or find. But with him being here, excuse me, if we're able to recover him back into this world and bring him out of the depths of whatever chamber he's in, perhaps it'll be some unification. Perhaps the war will end and won't have to suffer from it. People can actually come together and know that the gods are still here amongst us. I should probably say this now, but my goal for this is everything I just said. But with the amulet, I was able to reach into multiple timelines, different dimensions. I want to be able to have that power back. I want to be able to walk in time. I want to be able to change what was the wrong into good and set people possibly on a better path of this world. Tapping into that magical potential and with Elixion's help could be ever changing, bring that new magic to this world. And I was able to learn help of it with the help of someone very dear to me. Touching the ring on her finger and starting to spin it with all the empty food trays and everything. I've been very vocal from the beginning about the war that's happening in the Empire, and I detest it. That's why I want to find Elixion and bring it to an end. But I was married. I'm a widow. And I lost my husband to the war. He was in Blade Garden, and then when they recovered his body, I was told it was full of arrows. But from both sides, it was never known. He was just a bystander stuck in the crossfire. He was a curator for the Rextrum library. I was very happy. I was just a archivist, someone working in the halls, reading books, doing what I do best, researching. But after that day, I wanted to take it into my own hands. Maybe it was a form of self-destruction or so, but I wanted to be in the field, I wanted to see the danger, and I wanted to uncover all this stuff. And I was able to use a little bit of my positioning and some good good ties and elevate myself to be to where I am now. But I do want to share something with you. She'll reach into her sleeve, into her robes, her kind of now little, slightly stained, maybe a little tattered vestments that she has from the library. pulls out a little small book. And it's kind of brown in color, but it has some very dark maroon staining to it. If you were to look at it a little bit more, it would be blood per se, dried blood. This was found on my husband. This was his personal book. I think all of you would have liked him. He appealed to everyone. He had natural charisma, and he was the best thing ever. And without him, this world, I think, is suffering just slightly a little bit more. But this was always one of my favorites. And she'll, if it's cool with everyone, it's short, but she wants to read you a poem and how it's like relating to everything, if that's cool.
That's cool.
Please, go on.
Cool. So this one has always stuck with me. It's too bad that the Maroon 6 and Maggie wasn't here. She might actually like this. But here it says, "Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. Be on the watch. There are ways out. There is light somewhere. It may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. Be on the watch. The gods will offer you chances. Know them. Take them. You can't beat death, but you can beat death in life, sometimes. And the more often you learn to do it, the more light there will be. Your life is your life. Know it while you have it. You are marvelous. The gods wait to delight in you." Signed, my husband. It's about taking life into that it's yours and no one has possession over it. But, and not to be dragged down, and I've taken these words to heart and I've carried them with me. So that's why I'm here. That's why I want to find Elixion, bring back the Apathian, try to set some right into this world and hopefully stop another calamity. And maybe I'll find answers of trying to bring my husband back.
So that is something that you desire, to restore your husband, bring him back from the afterlife?
I know there's possible ways of doing it, and I know it would be foolish, but I want to know that there's ways to go back into time and to see things in different lights, and to be able to manipulate it and control it. Maybe if I just tweak a couple things and he wasn't there that specific day, things may be a little bit different, but I know that it will cause a schism. It might cause a rift. I still want to find what Elixion might have for me, for us. Reaching
I'm
into
sorry
the,
for your loss.
no, thank you. I've always been quiet about it. When we were in the hospital in the Bazoxan, just seeing all those bodies, everyone beaten and bruised and maimed, just made me think of him, and I had to leave. But that's why I want to set some right into this world and set some order.
I'm sure he was a great man. I hope you find closure, however way you choose to go about it.
Like I said, he was naturally gifted to talking with everyone. Very few held grudges against him. Smart, strong. He was almost perfect, almost too good to be true. But well, we're here where we're at now. We need to make the
He
best
had a
of everything.
six-pack.
Oh yeah, he
tall.
did. No, he just has everything. He was just a very was it like a man's man? Also, what's it called? Charisma, intellect, and everything. That's why he was a curator. Nia, are you here?
You said yes.
Your mic might be muted or something.
Megan.
Oh, I had it positioned too high up and it was on auto mute.
Fair enough.
Gotcha.
I was like, why isn't it working? It's in front of my mouth. Why isn't it working? Because just at the base, it was too high up on its swivel point, and it was muted.
Looking back to you and throwing the same question out, is that what do you hope to personally achieve by being here with the group? What makes you stick to us, and what are you hoping to, gain from all this?
for Nia, one of her greatest passions is just it really is the pursuit of knowledge, and as corny as that sounds, it really has been a driving force for her of just continuously wanting to discover and learn new things, whether that's religion, natural history, wonders. It's all fascinating to her, and every now and again, when she comes across something, it unlocks parts of her previous lives, and it's always thrilling to relearn something.
You
And
say of your previous lives.
I can sympathize with that reasoning. When we first found the amulet and we saw those visions, at first I didn't even believe them. I thought maybe it was some kind of trick, or someone just played an illusion spell to go off on like the first person who touched it. But that burning curiosity of like, of what if, I couldn't just not follow the trail, and now we're in so deep.
yeah, kind of to answer, I believe it was Brian's question. Sometimes you all sound similar to me. I'm sorry. Um, in Nia's youth, she was raised in the Luxon religion sector. Not sure what to call it. And in her youth, that's what she grew up with, and she had that. But as she grew older, she didn't. It She still held some of the principles to heart, but really wanted to get out there and really wanted to see the world. Whereas in the Luxon, they really have that. Is it consecration, Tom? And am I saying it correctly? What's it called?
Party, what is it called?
Consecution.
Yep.
Consecration. That was close. um, consecration. Basically, after a lot of self-reflection, she decided that it was worth risking being too far from a tower, that if worse came to worse, she just, it was going to be worth it, and she just needed to see what was out there.
How many lives have you lived?
All this
You know,
time, I wouldn't have suspected it.
it's impossible to tell. You just get snippets here and there, and those through I learned quite a bit through some of my training as a youth. I obviously haven't kept up with it, but I do try every now and again in my quiet times to do my meditations and whatnot.
To have that sort of power to be reborn, you're still living in fear of death and its pain, and maybe there is a chance that you wouldn't come back. But for those who are consecuted, simply living again, it's a dream for most. They hope to have
Well,
that in an afterlife.
we won't come back while we're here.
And
No, that's the thing. You must
one
be
of the
terrified.
and one of the ways that I could help make up my mind was how, because obviously the biggest fear of not being reincarnated is the loss of that knowledge, and that was one of the main pushes of why Nia joined the Cobalt Soul, is to be able to have still somewhere to put that collective knowledge and know that it'll still be utilized for lives to come, even if Nia does not get reincarnated once more.
But we'll do what we can so you wouldn't lose your knowledge till you are able to make it back home.
I mean, it's very brave of you as well to know that you're taking the chance to go across the seas and to not be reborn, but all in the pursuit of recovering of what's lost. That's admirable. That would say it's a +1 for Melina on that.
We're getting graded?
For Melina, yes.
It's all about those high scores.
Yeah. Mommy, what's my grade?
You get the test answers at the end of the quest.
At the end of the quest.
And as for the group, Nia just really finds the group really charming, even though obviously at times they can be dysfunctional. In a way, Nia almost not almost, does more or less regard the group as like a family, and every family can be dysfunctional, so long as they can have nice campfire times, or in our case, I guess sparkler time, to like work it out and talk about it. That's enough for her, and she just really enjoys everyone's company and the bond that they've created.
Well, by having this cohesion, we'll be able to communicate better and learn one another's abilities, and well, after a while, it'll just be second nature. We'll be able to be a tighter group. We're gonna need that going into these depths. So, I'm glad it was at least everyone here, and that we were able to do this.
While we're getting personal, I must admit that in the past month, I have really enjoyed this change of pace in my life, even though it's arguably a lot more dangerous than the 10 years working within the Myriad. Within the Syndicate, I never really did trust anybody. I worked with them, but I never fully trusted anybody, you know? And there's been a bond, a barrier that hasn't been broken through before, that I share with all of you.
Well, trust can always be hard to gain. For elves, maybe I'm speaking out of ignorance, but by the time you get to know some of the other species and everything, they're already towards the end of their life. By the time you build that trust and to really cement its foundation.
Julian gives a chuckle, says, "Remember, I'm only half drow."
Yeah, but half drows, even half elves live a lot longer though, still, don't they?
Slightly longer, half a century longer.
They live to like 150, right? Ish.
Yeah.
I thought they lived to like older. I don't know why I'm thinking that. Maybe I'm getting confused with other races. There's so many
you're
now.
confusing us with dwarves who live to like 300 or something like that.
Druids can live as long as like an high elf or an elf.
The class?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
As soon as you hit a certain level in the class, every year they live, or every 10 years equals 1 year.
Achieving such age nirvana requires one to become an archdruid, but it is possible.
Interesting.
Nia's just over here like, yeah, no. I have more or less human lifespan.
Regardless, it only takes one person to put, a bad look on someone, to lose that trust, and then carry that, project it everywhere you go. As long as you're always trying to improve and see that there is good out there, who knows, maybe there's a different way for you other than stealing and cheating, or perhaps you can use those tools and use it for something else in life. But I value what you're able to do and what you've been able to overcome, especially in Betrayer's Rise, for everyone. But
is this Nia's orb right here, or is this the scrying orb?
Nia's door.
This is a drift orb. It glows. Can you see it glows?
Oh, yes.
Speaking of which, we could also take that back to the armorer or someone and repair it to its full potential.
Yeah, because right now it only uses some of its spells, so.
I'll be able to make it as if it were day, but right now, because of the crack and what happened with it, we're only limited.
Yeah, because I think right now it only does lightning, but I can't cast day with it.
They can only cast light, not lightning.
Light. Sorry.
Yeah. I was about to
Trying
say,
to-
like, having a permanent storm sphere everywhere, like, that's dope.
Yeah, imagine if we got that item
Yeah,
per
so if we
truck.
got it. Yeah, if we got it
No.
fixed, we'd be able to cast daylight.
And especially where we're going in the depths, I would love to have something that's going to illuminate our path. Who knows what's down there? Maybe we can stop by and get it repaired tomorrow morning. But
Speaking of the orb, what are we gonna do about the organization or person that seems to be following us?
yeah, question about that. From that wisdom save I made earlier, is there anything with it or no? Or do I know that anything's happening with that save?
No, nothing happened.
Okay. Just ask him.
Yep. If it was a scrying spell, if you're asking for in terms of that, then if you would have succeeded, you would have not felt anything. If you would have felt, you would have not felt anything. Scrying does not let the other person know they're being scryed on, unless you have like means of detecting the orb.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yep.
Right now it's hard to say. We won't be able to trace who's tracking us or anything. So with whatever we do, we need to be careful.
Perhaps we could figure out what they're after. And I don't think that we can just assume it's us. Perhaps it could be an individual or an item that we have. I think it'd be helpful to know what are they after? What are they looking for?
I mean, the biggest thing would just comes to mind and off the tip of my tongue would be the amulet. And there's few people who know that.
Speaking of the amulet, then, Julian, are you done with that for the day?
I get.
Yes, well, so I have a couple thoughts about this, holding the amulet securely in his hand. One, this thing has some
Wait,
untapped...
what? You grab the amulet from where I'm wearing it and hold it?
I thought you gave it to me. Did I misunderstand?
I got it back last session.
Yes, I'm asking, are you done with it? You said that you were going to hand it back when you had it for the day.
I said not yet.
Oh, you said not yet. I thought you said have it. Okay. Why not?
Plan to use it.
Planning to use it. What are you planning to do with it?
Turn invisible. Just sneaking around.
Okay. You want to share with the class?
I mean, I'm assuming this is pertaining to what you were talking about earlier, but what exactly do you want to snoop around for? Oh, you already did?
Yeah.
I'm asking for details, my friend. At least share what your intentions are, what you're planning on doing. Should things go wrong, it'd be good to know how they went wrong.
I'll gonna try and make contact with the underground market. I'm gonna use invisibility as I leave so I can't be followed.
Is this a tonight thing?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, since Julian's not willing to give over the amulet with his plans, I still had two thoughts about this.
Go on. I do, if I may, if we're afraid about somebody stealing the amulet, I do think it is safest in my hand until we deal with whoever is trying to steal it. I am the fastest among us and most nimble.
What happens if you can't run?
What happens if they're able to see invisibility?
Whatever would stop me from running was probably going to stop anyone else from running. So.
There's a number of scenarios that can happen, Julian. There's
But-
an infinite amount of situations that could happen, and depending on that situation, any one of us would be the best one to hold such an item.
I will
Such
point
as?
this out, Julian. You're only just a little bit faster than me, not by a lot.
Okay.
I will say that having you go off alone in an area where somebody is hunting for something of ours, it would make more sense for the amulet to stay with the greater number rather than the lower. There's power in numbers rather than being alone.
Yeah, definitely I can agree with the whole advantage in numbers over skill. Well, for this specific scenario.
We all have skills that that are strong in their own right. I mean, if someone tries to take it from me, I'm very perceptive and I am very aware of everything that is around me. Well, just as much as Naya is. So if somebody was trying to come up on me, they would have to get it from my hands, and well, Zeno knows how strong I am. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, but when we separate, our weaknesses become very, very weak.
Perhaps.
So if you get jumped and lose it because you're going invisible and going off on your own, it is hard to say that it is better in your grasp than somebody else, because you might not see somebody else coming up to steal it from you. You could be.
Or if you get jumped upon or ambushed, it is
I have
possible.
I even have a spell that can cause somebody to hold person. If you're alone and somebody casts that spell on you, you can't do anything but watch somebody remove it.
Yeah. Or you can get spells like I have that can manipulate the mind and make you do things you wouldn't do.
Perhaps. Although, we know that. I guess we don't know this for certain, but the person who was scrying us was paying attention to Nia. I guess there's a chance they could be watching us right now, but it's not like they would know where I am. It's not like the people I meet's gonna know that I have the amulet or what it is.
You've actually just said that you have it out loud, so if somebody is watching us, then they would know that you are the one with it currently.
Perhaps.
That's
If
like
they're
your
watching
favorite
us right
word,
now.
isn't it, Julian?
There's always a chance for everything.
I think this
Yes.
is incredibly flawed, though, but I'm
You-
not going to let the amulet go by itself. So either you stay with the group, or I'm forced to follow.
And if
I
you
would
don't make it
love
easy for us
if
to,
some of you follow.
but we can't follow when you're invisible. Therefore, the whole idea of you holding on to it going invisible wouldn't really work.
Exactly.
Like, are you going to go speak to this person to get information by showing him the amulet? Are you?
Absolutely not.
But
No, I don't trust them.
then, if we all go with you, what's the reason for you to hold on to the amulet? I'm just curious. Is there an actual reason if we go together? Like, do you still need to hold on to it, go invisible? Is there another reason for you to be holding on to it?
If we all go together, I guess the invisibility part, doesn't matter anymore because we can't all turn invisible.
How long does it take for us to get to this underground market, anyways?
Don't know yet.
Oh,
Then-
I also, with the power of my new instrument, my oh god, I can't pronunciations. My let me check the wording. My
Your buckle
bandor. Sorry, I got a bandor, right? So, and one of the spells it can use is invisibility.
There you go. I was waiting for you to
Nice.
say that.
I would like to Also, I will also mention that before I go meet up with them, I plan on disguising myself. I don't.
Well,
For
I can
anyone who
help you
wants to
with
come
that.
with me, I don't recommend you come as you are.
If you need a disguise, Julian, I can definitely help you out in that department.
Thank you, but I already did went clothing shopping. I said.
I can always change my outfit and cover my entire body.
Because remember, Nia has a disguise kit, so it does a couple extra things. And, yeah, so the disguise kit does some fun things.
Julian with the mustache.
Those glasses with a nose.
Yeah, I am the French.
Well, I think we should definitely continue unfolding this plan if we are going to go into the, I don't know, the cesspools of this city. I will participate, no problem. I can stand behind that. Though I want to back up just a bit because as I said, I have two things I want to mention regarding the amulet. First one being, we can use it to help find out if that's what this person is after, right? Could potentially deliberately share information with Tom. Can you turn down the music?
You can do that yourself.
I did. If you ever want to turn down the stream, you can right click on it and set its own volume.
It just started getting super loud without me doing anything. No problem.
Yep.
I wasn't near my mouse. Regardless, we could deliberately leak who has it and see if anybody follows, see if anybody scries that particular individual. That's one way to kind of rule out if they're after this particular thing. It was just an idea.
Why did you want the amulet, by the way?
I wanted it. I didn't actually want it. You had said that you were going to give it back, and what I was planning on doing is, well, you said no. You said when you're done with it today, not give it to me
The day
tomorrow.
hasn't ended.
You can argue semantics all you want. You're not really gaining favor with me here, Julian. In fact,
I'm
you're
just
losing.
curious why
You're
you want it.
losing favor, my friend. My point
Say
that
so.
I was getting to is there are untapped charges that we don't use on this thing. There's untapped energy in this, and I wonder if it wouldn't be better in somebody else's hands. It almost seems like the amulet very much aligns with Melina's abilities, given that she's constantly doing crowd control and some debuffs here and there. Why not let her continue that pursuit without burning spell slots or concentrations with, removing Banes from us? It was just a suggestion, paired with the extra AC might help. It was a
I
thought.
don't believe the amulet can remove status effects on us. Not yet. It does help us in the pinch of a moment. I was thinking it'd be better for those of us who are less magically inclined to hold on to it, since those who are magically inclined have very little time in combat, potentially to use its full effects.
That only works if that individual is willing to give up their action in whatever thematic words I can use in a natural conversation that doesn't sound like board game rules.
Don't worry about metagaming. I literally made a post about that today. We all know what you're talking about.
Fair enough. That only works because, for example, me, I will talk about me. In the heat of the moment, I'm going to do what I naturally do. I'm going to do what comes natural to me. And I feel the same for all of you. And if you're not magically inclined, you're not naturally going to start to use it's magic. You'll get caught up in your normal routine, everything that you've done your entire life, trained for.
You think I'll forget how to use it?
I think his
Yeah,
point was that you're just not used to using it, so by reflex, when you're
Yes.
pushed up against the wall, you're not going to think of it.
Exactly.
You're not going to reach for it.
The only other thing that I would say is that, Julian, you always run away from combat. Some of the abilities within the jewel itself is for those who are actually in the heat of things. You run in and then you run away, you're always in the back line. You're never truly staying in the front. Some of these things can be very useful for those who remain in the front and who are taking the damage.
That is not what I'm saying either. I'm not saying.
No, I'm not. I'm speaking from the knowledge of what we have of the jewel. For example, like as Tom linked over there, you expend one jewel slot, no action required to end the falling condition and grapple, paralyzed, or restrained. Like, for example, if somebody is in hand-to-hand combat more often rather than hiding in the back lines, that could be very useful for them. That's all I was meaning.
So with this plan, you want to establish ties with the market, and then you want to go find this red dust. But we know that it's like a substance that is not stable, and that's seeping, from my hypothesis, seeping from the Netherdeep, and something that's affecting Elixion, his emotions, his sorrow, his anger, or something like that. And you want to be able to just gather that, or do you want to do something specifically with it?
I'm just gonna use the red dust as bait during the actual negotiations. We know that it's coming from this ruined city, which is the place that we're trying to get to, and we don't really know how to get to at the moment. Whoever's collecting this stuff in the underground market, they know how to get there.
Well, given the fact that we went to an excavation that's actually held by the All Site themselves, if one of us was a member of it, we probably could get access. And given the fact that Grizz already has an inkling that we wish to go there, it's already a step in the direction to actually get down there.
More of a bureaucratic way, but yeah, Riot's right. Go ahead.
Reading through the description of this again, we actually have 2 items that cast invisibility, because the jewel also casts invisibility.
Only on 2 people, though. So only 2 people can go invisible.
Yeah, and then, well, yeah, because
upcast.
There's 5 of us.
Well, no, because you can use it. We have 5 charges of the jewel.
It's concentration, can't use it all at once.
It only works on the user, too, of the jewel.
It just says you can cast invisibility. Can't you cast invisibility on someone besides the
So, as the party said, invisibility is a concentration spell. You can only hold one concentration spell at a time. You cast it on one person. If you recast it on a second person, the first person goes visible.
Okay. Sorry. But still, it just means that we do have we have items, so regardless of whether Melina or Riot or myself have the spell invisibility, we do have the option to have up to 2 people invisible.
May I ask something closer to the core of this sort of decision paralysis we're facing here? It's not so much a solving how to make the party invisible. From what I'm hearing is a part of a party just doesn't want to even pursue this path in the first place. It's so that begs the question of what brings the greater benefit for the party as a whole. And I, for one, don't think that denying an option outright should be like right now an option. Pursue one avenue. If that doesn't work, let's pursue another one. Right? But
we're not trying to shut down an avenue. I think we're just trying to figure out why Julian seems to want to hold on to the jewel.
Yeah,
I think that's where I'm trying to figure out, because technically it sounds like Julian just wants to hold on to the item, but hasn't actually said the real reason why he wants to hold on to the item. He says he wants to hold on to the reason
why I want to hold on.
Because you don't have magic, therefore you think you can use it better than somebody else. That's all I've really gotten from it.
I didn't say that. I said I want to hold on to it so that I can cast invisibility on myself while I go as I leave whatever the base is for these underground people, because I don't trust them not to follow me as I
So
go out.
by doing that, though, you're ditching the party and going on a solo adventure.
I did
Because we
invite you
can't
guys.
follow you. No, but when you go invisible, we can't follow you. So by us following you to begin with, it nullifies the whole you going invisible. If you go invisible, we can't follow you at all. We can't see you or anything. So therefore,
You would
you've now
follow
left
me
the
as we
party
leave?
behind.
You would follow me as we leave?
Yes, but once you go invisible, we lose all track of you. We can't see you at all. So then, as soon as you go invisible, you're on a solo adventure. Because we won't have any idea where you're going. See the issue with you going invisible?
I think.
After
Go
I
ahead.
leave, I'm not really planning to go anywhere specific. Gonna walk around in random directions for a while, and then just in case, and then loop around back towards my my inn.
But
Julian.
it
Yes.
still sounds like you're going on a solo adventure.
Well, afterwards, I'm going to bed. There's no adventure in that.
Julian, does your
I'm so
telepathy
confused.
require concentration, or is that an instantaneous spell?
It's not even a spell. It's just something I can do.
At least if you use invisibility and your words failing and
Telepathy?
your telepathy together, at the very least we could at least
Yep.
try to keep track of you, and we could maybe have a very like bar like guard party, if you want to call it. So we could also wander around, but like not necessarily in the exact same venue as you. And that way you're not alone, but you can still go about your also, if you're just gonna wander
really
about
good
the
idea.
city, I would suggest a disguise over using the invisibility spell, because we can just disguise you as something inconspicuous instead of using
I do have a mask, gloves, and a cloak with a hood on it that covers pretty much all of my body. They're not going to be able to see who I am. They won't even know my race.
Like I said, we can also always use the disguise kit. I put the very large description in the bar for you, so you can see all the fun things it does.
That takes a while to prepare, right? Do you have a disguise ready?
It doesn't
No.
take that long to replay. It only takes 10 minutes to craft a disguise.
Yeah, we already
Yeah.
talked about this.
Yeah, so it doesn't take particularly
Moderate
long.
changes.
She can put color all over your face and you can wear clothes that only takes like 10 minutes.
A natural makeup tone.
This is almost going back to when we were in Basil's Inn, when we said she couldn't do a disguise. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just because I do agree with Riot that you shouldn't be wandering by yourself. It was one thing when I was wandering, but I had Mushid, and let's just say half the time I didn't know what I was doing.
I think we can admit
put
it,
it
because that
lightly.
sort of still sucked, and I don't want to repeat that if possible.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I can definitely see where both of you are coming. We're trying to find, I think we could maybe find a happy medium between you being able to do some scouting, but not necessarily doing it alone.
I'm all for it. If you guys want to join, and I extended the invitation before, it sounded like nobody else wanted to go along with it.
You also didn't explain your full want of this plan either. You just said you want to go to the underground.
What is the plan?
I said I wanted to find the ones who are collecting the red stuff and distributing it underground, because they possibly know a path to the ruined city. What else is there to say? That is the plan.
But establishing these ties and trying to get there, that's the hardest part, because we have to make friends with this entire faction, and then we're going to have to plow through whoever it could be, smugglers, cutthroats, Vermilion. We'll be entirely on our own at that point. And then also being down there, we have no access currently. So if anything goes bad, we're caught. It's
What do you mean
all
by
the favor
access?
of the all site.
What do you mean by
What do you-
access?
Access to the underground.
Oh,
Because right now we have a tail, and we don't know who that is. If it's the Allegiance, if it's the Library, if it's the Inquisitors, like even all the way in the Kryn, maybe they're operating here. The Vermilion Dream, anything. Like we'll never know. They're just able to scry, because we don't have any means of not protecting ourselves from that right now. And so I think we're taking too much of a risk right now.
Would
There's
my
ways of
hut-
finding another entrance, but sneaking on our own, doing this all alone, solo, us as a group, I mean,
Would my
we have
hut
other ways.
protect us from scrying?
No.
No.
No. If the spell doesn't say that it does, I don't think it protects you from scrying.
Let's see.
If you're looking for methods that protect from scrying, the most common one are magical items that do that, enchanted with such magics to protect against divination and such.
Put one in chat earlier.
For example, yeah. I would like to imagine as adventurers, uncommon items are not nuanced knowledge.
So basically, my hut basically makes it that no one can see inside of it.
Yeah, but that's like visibility, not... If, say, a sensor was outside the hut, then all they see is a semi-dome of whatever color you pick the hut to be, right? I will have to look up. I think that the sensor can still go into the hut because it's technically not a creature you did not designate. It is a spell effect, but I will look into that right now.
Says
Because all other creatures and objects. So if is it considered an object?
It's considered a spell effect. Let me look up something and I'll come back right to you. So this is... what spell is this? This is hut. Lenomots, Tiny Heart.
Because I remember the main reason I got this spell was for if we were in large dungeons like we were in at Betrayer's Rise, that we could take rests without risk of without high risk of being disturbed.
Of course, there's a
Yeah, it's a good
difference
one.
though between a patrolling monster and using its senses of smell and sight that the hut would probably most likely protect you from, and a ritualistic divination spell that places a sensor 10 feet away from you. At most, it can be closer to you. So say if the sensor spawns within the hut, merely 5 feet away from you, it's gonna be inside a hut.
Yeah.
It's a magical effect for the same reason that you can cast spells within your hut yourself. If it was like something like a zone of anti-magic, a very high level spell, it would nullify any of such effects. But again, if you're looking for cheap methods to mask yourself from such detection, there are magic items that I do believe do not even require attunement. Let me check. Amulet of proof against... it requires attunement, alas. Well, it makes sense. But, like, you know, while wearing such amulets, you're pretty much hidden from divination magic, right? You cannot be even targeted by such magics or perceived through magical sensors. So if somebody, say, even scries on somebody near you, you are not perceptible to that scrying. So, something to consider, if that's a concern here, which sounds to me like it is.
And you already have this prepared, the tiny hut.
No, but it only takes a minute to cast. It's a spell.
I mean, you have the spell available to you right in this moment.
Yes. I gained this, I think, at like level 4 or 5 I took this spell. Never had the chance to use it yet, though.
Gotcha. Well, that sounds like the exact place we should be having this conversation.
inside the hut?
It doesn't stop sound though. Like somebody outside can still hear us.
Yes.
Think about it like an invisible dome that goes around us, but like snow falling on it will be stopped on the outside of the barrier, but it doesn't stop us talking.
You could secure lodging if you so wish.
Are there any rules against me inviting people to my room? At the end?
No.
No? There are not enough beds in your room for the entire party, but you can
Yeah,
have
they can't
whoever.
sleep there, but we can just visit, talk there, and
They
stuff.
can sleep there if they want, they'll just won't sleep on a bed, of course. Stack on top of one twin bed.
No, but Melina, if you'd like, we can go splitsies on a room if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
If discretion is what you're looking for. Talking behind closed doors might put you at ease. This place is crowded. Plenty of people passing by, even as the hours of the night become late. It is now approaching midnight.
It seems like there's a big divide, as in this is like seeming a little bit too big of a risky plan, and while we have access to get down into this like quarry in the pit or wherever they're getting this like substance from, we have other means of possibly finding it. But I would settle on at least trying to find this underground market and then ask some questions, but then that's it. Not pursue anything after that at this time.
Yeah.
What questions do you want to ask them?
Well, how else are you going to find this cave or wherever they're getting this material? If you find the market, you'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, hey, you have this red dust. Where'd you find it? You know?
I wasn't really expecting them to answer any questions I asked regarding where it is. I went there, I was planning to go on pretending that I know a lot more than I actually do. Say like, hey, I know you have access to this thing. I can get you deeper. There's a trove within it that can further enrich you. I know you haven't gone very far within the ruins. Just get me to the entrance. Let me have enough ruidium to fill my own pockets. The rest of the trove is yours. As of now, it sits there enriching no one.
Well, Julian, if you'd like to go on a recon questionnaire mission, Nia would go with you, as she does have some more intrigue-based spells and abilities that might be able to help us get some information.
The thing is, if you say that there's also a trove in there that they haven't potentially tapped into, they're going to say, okay, lead the way, meaning you already know the way into this such place, and they'll... I see where you're going at, but it seems flawed. There needs to be a little bit more. I would probably ask around. Maybe we can talk to some people who have the substance, and then maybe there's someone that they can point to who has a little bit more of an understanding, and then we can try to kind of investigate that a little bit more. But that's what I'm picking up on.
Yeah, I have to go for a bit. We can't find one of our cats.
Oh no.
I'll be back when I can.
Okay.
Also, one of the other spells that Nia got with her Bandor was Speak with Animals, which could always be useful.
I found her, don't worry. I got her. Okay.
Well,
So
it seems like we're
are we?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Are we going to head to the Where are you going, Julian? What is there? Is there a name of a bar, tavern, a secret society?
I have no
Where
idea
in the
where it
city?
is.
Okay, so tonight you're going somewhere, but you don't know where.
That's right.
This is a no for me now. Hand over the amulet.
Okay.
Yeah, that I think we could be on board. You know, we're not going to shut down your idea. As I said before, I believe that for us, it's important for us to know all of our avenues here. whatever route they may be, and perhaps a shady little tavern is the best way for us to get into this city underground. But I think we would all feel a lot more comfortable joining you in that venture if we had a better plan. It doesn't have to be a foolproof plan. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just a better idea as to what we're getting into before we actually get into it.
We've only been here for 2 days, and in these 2 days, a lot of people are starting to know our faces and know what we're all about. Disguising ourselves can be an option, but maybe let's do a little bit of digging before we just start wandering around aimlessly. It's never
Yeah,
a smart thing to do.
I think, Julian, you should do the asking. Start asking. I don't recognize thieves' cant, but I know of it. Start asking the right people, the right questions, get leads, and maybe those leads will bring you to new leads, and then so on until you find the right bar, the right tavern, the right secret door, and then we can try this plan. But I would need to rely on you to find the sources.
We have plenty of time to
Well, I already have a
stay in
source.
here.
Well, who's your source? Should we meet this person? Or
Yeah, we've been with him the entire time. Rashid.
okay, we can have a conversation with Mushid. Seems like if that's where you were planning on starting, we could have started there an hour ago.
I don't know where these guys are located, but that'll definitely Mushib will definitely be the one to lead me there. He's a quote unquote guide that seemingly knows so much about the city and has personal dealings with people to get discounts at places. He's definitely more than he appears to be.
I'm sure he's heard names.
If he can physically bring us somewhere tonight, we can ask around and do whatever and try to get at least an understanding of what's going on in this market. People, their strength, possible names, and everything. I'm up for that. But after that, that's where I stop. Because then we're just going blind at that point.
I never wanted to suggest that we go down into the ruins tonight. I just wanted to make contact. And we already paid for Mashid today. I don't really want to pay for him for another day.
Who's gonna fire him?
No, we don't really need him. Alright, well then... Bring a... Or what's Mashid doing?
He's running a
He's
shop.
just chilling?
Currently playing game of chess, trying to improve his skills with one of the locals, while sort of chilling on a rug, smoking his shisha pipe, casting those fluorescent smoke monsters into the air, entertaining some local children as well. He's chilling.
Chilling. Vibing. Alright, well, either way, let's go talk to Mashid then, and kind of get whatever we need to get the project rolling. I don't have too much dealings with the syndicate or anything, so I don't know how they tend to speak or what they tend to look for, so this will be kind of on your back a little bit, but I'll assist where I can.
To be honest, even we wouldn't know anything about these people. Myriad has no dealings with these people at all.
Indeed. This is new territory for me.
Essentially, if we get the wrong person, we could have a knife in our back.
Alright, well, let's go talk to him then. I don't want to be out all night. I need to get some rest. We have a long day tomorrow. Talk to the library, possibly go to the north. There's a lot to do here still. And we still need to find some answers about Elixium.
So what would you like to do?
Talk to Mashid.
Who takes the lead?
Julian! Julian.
I will.
You're at it, J-Dog.
What would you like to say to Machine?
Your mustache, man.
Rashid,
Yes.
we're all getting a bit tired for tonight. Can you follow us to, can you lead us back to my inn?
Sure thing. Let me just
Yeah, and I'm
put away
staying
my
at the
things.
harried... What's it called? Harried Werebat? No.
The harried
Like a
mongoose.
Mongoose.
Mongoose werebat, same thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Fun game. I suppose I'll pick it up another time. Thank you. Putting away his things, he packs away into his chest of many things. And, sure. From here, you make your way back to the inn.
As Nia saw Mashid pack up his chest set, she kind of just like points at him and she's like, "We need a rematch. I will not let my dignity go wrong." Actually, no, I think she won that game, but she still wants a rematch.
You did win the match, but I will be more than overjoyed for a rematch, Miss Belheim. Belhime? I'm sorry, foreign names are confusing. Anyway, follow me. And eventually, you guys make your way up the Sun Herald District all the way to the River District, where Julian is staying at the Harried Moongoose. As you do so, you see on the way just you see a couple of street urchins, a human and a tiefling child each, gather fruits from the sort of alluvium gardens throughout, selling them to passers-by even at this hour, trying to make whatever little coin they can. Should you
What do
wish?
we see?
It's a couple of street urchins, two children, a human and a tiefling, selling like just in detached robes, trying to sell fruits from a little stand, just trying to make a little bit of coin even at this late hour of the night.
All right, we'll go over and purchase some fruit from them.
Okay, you buy a little bit of fruit and some copper for yourself for a couple coppers, as a thank you. And who knows? The butterfly effect flutters weirdly across Xantia. Maybe this will come back to aid you in the future.
Right, we'll actually give him 3 silver.
Noted. Unless you wish to do anything else, the rest of you, along with Rashid, will end up at the Harried Moongoose Inn, a modest establishment, double-storied, decorated with like, this coppered rooftop that's sort of domed over, with turquoise-like mosaic around the building edifice. Julian's room is equally humble: a single bed, a dresser, a candle stand, a single window looking outside to the streets of the river district, through which you can hear the gentle trickling of the various riverets and the water weirds swimming along the skiff. You're with Murshid in this room. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna change out of my vestments into my previous clothing.
The red, sort of vermilion colored ones? Sure. Fair enough. You find like there's like a outhouse down the hall where you can change and come back.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna have to change those colors too. I'll have to get some clothes on the way wherever we're fucking going.
If you just need to change the color of your clothes, Nia can do that for you.
True.
Can you?
Yes.
Dope. Give me the. What's like the city's colors? Like what's like a very popular color here?
They like the colors of the rainbow in the city. They're very much flamboyant. Turquoise seems to really complement the sand of the desert. It seems to be one of the more primary colors that sort of matches the Cerulean Palace's glass.
Okay.
The same shade of the River District Life Dome glass. Not such a cobalt, bold blue, but more like a sky blue. Yeah.
I'll take a little bit of that and I'll mix it in with some like purples and everything since we're going to like a darker, I guess, place or so. Maybe.
Sure thing. And Nia,
a lighter purple.
How are you changing the color of the cloth? I'm just curious.
sure I can do that with my disguise kit. No, the disguise kit is that. No, no, it's not through the disguise kit. It's through the entertainer's kit. I believe that I could do that.
So you just happen to have like one of your stage costumes on you that just sort of drape a little bit of a fellow woman's clothing on Melina, which seemed to fit just right. Fair enough. All right.
I was going to say on the walk over, Riot was actually going to ask Morshida 2 questions.
Sure.
One, do you know where other places in Melora is around the town?
Well, there's one here in the river district, and the greenery to the far north. And he points the map toward like a little clearing in the midst of all this green here, where the path sort of ascends to the alluvium district, sort of bordering earth and water, and this natural domain of what makes Ankarel great.
Thank you, Rashid. And my other question was, do you know of many temples that deal with purifying?
There is the healing temple of Sunray that many use to come to heal from disease. When you say purifying, what do you mean by that?
Purifying one's soul.
I suppose any such temple will do you that, depending on your faith. We have visited the humble temple of the Moonweaver. Did you not find solace there?
I was more thinking of a soul, perhaps of another, someone who was trapped.
You'll have to be more specific with me, friend, for me to help you.
He's more meaning like... Sorry.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand it yet himself. Like, I'm trying to do it where Rai doesn't understand it exactly yet, but he's more meaning like purifying the sword because of the soul is trapped within it.
But you already know how to do that. It must be put to
That's
rest.
just one way, though. Yeah, but
typically,
I was trying to find an area for that. Like a
I got you here. Roll me a religion check, and I'll see how much I can give you just based off this conversation. And you can go ahead and roll it with advantage because you have Morshid helping you as a city guide here. I'm just looking to see how much I can give you above the obvious. Natural 20, awesome. Natural 20. 22. The best place in the city to put away the restless spirit is within the necropolis of the Dusk Maven, overwatched by the Golden Vulture herself.
Thank you very much, Morshid.
Be wary. The flock of the Dusk Maven, there are an odd bunch. Simply not harmful, but reclusive. For a good reason. Not many can handle the Dusk Maven's ways.
I've been through a lot, so I think I will attempt it.
He nods understandably in the silent way that wise men nod when they must not say more.
Thank you, Morshid.
Of course. So, as a sort of reminder for you, the crossings of the Eventide is a necropolis of the Dusk Maven, also known as the Raven Queen for you guys, away from Ankarel. In Ankarel, it's located in the northern cliffs of the Guided District. So, along those cliffs I've described before. You can actually see them from here, little alcoves in the cliffs here and there, like little caves that serve as the burial grounds of Ankarel's more reputable individuals, but the necropolis itself is in the north part of the district.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Unless the party has anything to ask about what just transpired,
sorry, I was actually muted. Sorry. Asking Riot, it'd be like, just kind of touching down on like, was Sehanine like not enough? Is there something else that's not sitting right, or like what are you trying to refer to as purifying a soul?
Do you remember back in Bazozan? The creature that killed Rice Pudding. When we thought it was somebody called Hesper. A drow that worked for Verith.
Yeah, I remember
Sorry.
clearly.
Anytime someone has hit me, or anytime I've been harmed, I hear her voice screaming in my head. And I haven't fallen to the vengefulness that it feels, but I do understand her heart. I do understand her pain. I know that there is a way to remove her from the blade, but it doesn't sound like one that would bring peace to her soul. I would like to bring peace to her soul so she can find a rest, rather than torment that she's had her entire life. If someone here hit me right now, there's a chance that I would attack them, given her crying soul that's within this blade.
But
And
you're saying the blade is cursed, but you haven't told anyone about it till now.
this
You
is
guys
the
have been
first
on
day
my
that we've been
ass
using
about
it.
not trusting me.
Alright, out of character, we've already been stuck in the same day for 3 fucking sessions. And I have RP'd him shaking his head multiple times. No one said shit. So you can't get on my ass for this. This is our final time we've had a camping for me to fucking bring it up. So y'all sit back, have a chill pill, and let's roleplay.
Rashid has
I'd be
all the
like,
chill
my
pills.
time to shine. My spotlight. Poor Riot.
It is. Her soul is twisted in pain, and I wish to smoke the chill pill. I want to free her soul rather than get rid of it in the painful way. No one deserves to be in pain as long as she has. I don't know who she is beyond the facade that the creature took of her. But after losing Rice Pudding, I understand the rage and the anger that she feels.
The nature of where this conversation is going and the fact that we're in a very small room, Nia would escort Mushid out of the room and be like, "Let's get you a room. You look tired. Let's get you set up."
Okay.
So she would escort him back to the desk and get him his key and being like, here's some coin for a meal. You deserve it. You are awesome today. Though your definition of spicy is a little weird. And we need to work on that.
Oh, I see. I'm getting Meganed.
And then after that, seeing that Mushid was all nice and settled, she would return.
I will wait here. Should you need my aid, I have nowhere to go. I am homeless.
I set you up in a room and a meal, man.
Nice. Thank you.
What was the cost for that, by the way?
I'll look it up in a second. I'm just gonna wait for Riot to wrap up.
5 silver.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to get that.
Fair enough. You just wanted to get more shit out of the room, just in case he's eavesdropping. Fair enough. Okay. Riot. Regarding the sword. Just give him target.
Yeah. It would be rude to get rid of her soul without letting her find peace after being tormented for so long. I don't want to cause her more pain. Just peace, relaxation, and be able to go back to with those of her ancestors. The same way that, Melina, you first helped me send the bison that we ate back to his own ancestors after we took our fill in what we needed. It's the same train of thought.
Do you think maybe instead of, if we can't help her, like if we can't help her soul heal and be returned, could we maybe then instead maybe see if we could remove it from the object and maybe transfer it to like an animal or something that could live in peace?
I don't think any of us have enough power or magic to be able to change something like this.
And this far away from Grohas, the spirit will not return via consecution either.
I mean, helping someone in the cursed object is a noble thing. If we come across the Dust Maven, the Raven Queen's temple, and if we're able to find a solution and perhaps just have them take the sword and do whatever they need with it, then so be it. Perhaps we can try to negate or lift this feeling that you have within you as well. But we've already got a lot of stuff on our hands and everything. Perhaps we can just drop it off with them, check in, and then they can kind of update us.
I will say this: I don't know if I can let it go. I've tried to put it down a few times, and I can't let it out of my reach. I've tried
Noble cause.
to. What?
Let him finish.
It's noble of you to try and release her. Sorry.
Um, there's something about this blade that won't let me put it down. You can try to take it away from me, but I have a feeling I'd fight with all my heart to get it back into my own possession. If we go towards the Cobalt Soul on the guided district, as Marshy just said, it is just to the north. I know there's a lot on our plate, but this is the only weapon I have, and I feel like this is the only weapon I desire to use. And even if I say that I would like to try picking up another blade, I know that my hand will still always go to this one. It's just an inert feeling within inside myself.
Well, it does seem like the blade and this curse has already taken effect, but there's healers there that can help alleviate these symptoms, help you get that blade away from your hands. And then after that, it's no longer in our possession, and we can hand it over, possibly if you want to get rid of it and deal with the soul inside of it, to the proper people. Meaning, I'm just saying you could cast a remove curse and you'll unattune from it and do whatever, if that's the quicker option you're maybe looking for. But we can see what they want to do.
We'll see what happens.
think
All I
he's-
can say is it feels like this curse of her is a curse of me as well.
Given Nia's background for being a researcher and all of her time in her studies, would she be able to recall where or who might possess this kind of knowledge?
This kind of knowledge. What
Elaborate.
What kind of knowledge, sorry?
Of how to bring peace to a trapped soul.
The Dusk Maven, the Raven Queen, goddess of death, deals with the transition of one soul into the afterlife when the Loxin is not involved. The Loxin getting in sort of the way of the natural cycle of things, being its own force, the rest being handled by the goddess of death. If anybody would know about such things, it will be the flock, the clergy of the Dusk Maven.
So perhaps in our tours about the town and amongst all of our missions, perhaps a trip to the necropolis could be on our to-do list.
Yeah, if we stop by and have the time, and we can see what needs to be done real quick and hand the blade over and let them see what they need to do, then we can go from there.
To be honest, given the connection I have with the blade, you might have to drop me off with them for the time being. I don't think it will be an instant thing, but you can carry me out kicking and screaming, I feel, but I'm still going to bolt back to it the first chance I get. It's just the feeling I have. Just thought it'd be fair for everyone to know.
Well, we'll see what the experts would have to say. If only the limited amount of arcane knowledge that I'm able to kind of know at my level with my experience, there's ways of dealing with that, but it just depends on how deep that curse runs. But in the meantime, what are we doing as far as tonight?
It's Homer sheet back. It's noble of you to want to help the soul inside the blade instead of just ridding yourself of it.
I tried to place the sword down multiple times. I get to the point of releasing it from my grasp, and then all I do is I clench around it more. If I was trapped in the blade, it's what I wish somebody would do to me. Bring balance to one's life once more.
Mhm.
She's in nothing but pain. Anytime I'm hit, it screams, it is her. Kill her. So whatever this creature did to torture her, it was brutal. It was unfair.
Julian gives a nod. Then he'll go down to get Mushid.
Corner of her eye,
Bring
having
back.
seen this weird black dot, she has this inkling that she just needs to clean it, and she casts prestidigitation on this black blob.
Okay. As you try to clean away the essence of what this creature is made up of, the spell takes little effect, maybe clearing the slime trail but like behind it. But it is indeed a black pudding blob, and nothing lies beneath it besides perhaps what it just consumed in the last hour or so. As you, Julian, go downstairs to get Murshid, he's still there, just about to start a meal. It's only been like 5 minutes, but he's like, I'll bring it with me. No, of course, I'm still on the clock. What is it you require of me again?
We're gonna talk for a bit.
Oh, all right, let's talk.
In my room.
Yeah, of course, he
Then
proceeds up to your
walks
room. Yeah.
Alright, Mushid. We want to know about your friends. The ones who are collecting and dealing out the red stuff.
That's it?
That's a start.
I'm sorry?
Here, for shits and giggles, can I insight check him and see if he knows anything or if he's just trying to pass off that he's silly?
Go for it.
The underground markets. I know you have connections with them.
Oh, 18.
18. It is very, very, very difficult for you to read the facial expressions of a mantis person. But from the way that the crystal translates his voice, he sounds genuinely confused.
You know, you might need to be more specific, Julian. I don't know if he understands what you mean.
Am I in trouble? Have I somehow not served correctly? I do not want any trouble with the gods or anything.
None whatsoever.
Is it about the spice? I simply committed to Nia's requests, Miss Bellheim's.
You know who runs that spice shop?
Oh, why? It is a trio of individuals whose name I do not recall. I know one is a fellow man. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not good here. I do not know their names. I merely know the location. And when it comes to the illicit, I merely point the way towards the Sood. For many tourists are here in Akrel looking for such stuff, but I try not to get too many names. In case the gods capture me or along those lines.
Just so you know, Murshid, you're not in trouble. We're just trying to find out information, that's all. We're not going to do anything to harm you. You've been very good to us.
Yeah, sure, and it's sort of like how I explained to Julian, especially when you asked me the first time. If you're seeking the Veil, which is, I guess, the endpoint of all this, it is then, so you've heard through the myriad of, just like the myriad, assassins, thieves, other criminals. If just anybody could be like, hey, I'm looking for the Veil, and find them, there would not be the Veil. So, is there, with that in mind, is there something that you wish to do with that information? Sort of along the lines of, yeah, go for it.
Julian will speak again to Rashid, this time using Thieves' Camp, saying, "Who do I have to talk to about the red stuff?"
What comes out of Julian's mouth is an area of words that string together make no sense, but you do see a hint of recognition, as in a similar matter of nonsense, he responds back a phrase that the rest of you hear as, If you're looking for something more illicit than sued, you must find the House of Blossoms. And to find the House of Blossoms, one must follow the scent of petals. How about you try your luck at the casino? I hear they have an amazing fragrant soap in the bathroom.
I think we hear and understand what you're saying, and then Melina kind of taps on her nose with a small point to him. So is that what we're looking for then, Julian? Is that all you need?
Sounds like that's where we need to start.
So perhaps, Mushid, on our next outing, perhaps we need to revisit the casino. I think I have an urging to spread my wings once more.
Certainly, and try your luck. Maybe place a bet this time. He makes this insectile chitinous clicking with his jaws that is what the crystal translates into laughter.
Julian will
wearing his
tell the
gambling?
party after. Julian will tell the party we need to go gambling.
And what was that, Will?
He said a kindness chuckle. Is Riot wearing part of his relatives?
Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like this.
Okay,
You're
good.
wearing a much, much larger creature, and where your Drohassian armor is horned at places and has these bulging growths here and there that act sort of thicken the armor and give it some mass. His chitin is very slick, very much like that of a mantis or a cricket, right? With cricket wings sort of folded on his back, very much smooth, green, shimmering with sandy brown shades here and there. Different species.
I just had to ask that question.
Of course.
Late is it now?
It is past midnight.
This is sleep time.
I do believe it is sleep time.
We can always visit the casino another night. Like right now, we don't have
Yeah.
any hurry or anything, but at least we
We can
have
do it.
an idea of what we're looking for.
We can do it
Riot.
another night.
Yes.
If you'd like, 'cause I know you're not very comfortable here in the in a hotel or in, I should more say. I have a bedroll and I don't mind joining you out in the river district, and if we'd if we don't want to be disturbed or look inconspicuous, we can always cast the hut and you'd still be able to see the stars.
I thought you wanted to go halvesies on a room.
You want to come look at the stars with us?
I want to sleep in the bed.
Maybe,
My back is hurting.
Maybe Xena will halvesy with you.
Hey, you can get used to get to know each other. Maybe use that ceremony for yourselves.
Yeah.
I cast for state.
If we're at the Mongoose place, then I'm just gonna get a room here then, because we're already here. I don't want to go dividing up everywhere.
Well, the
Yeah.
river. Nia, you can. I'm going with this building's not particularly necessarily short, and we're not very far from the river district.
Actually, I think we're in the river
You're
district.
in it.
Well, I meant more down to grassy bits.
Hmm.
Like over here, so here.
500 feet away, 462 feet away.
That's not too bad. It's like a 10-minute walk.
The harried mongoose in the river district will be of a modest place. I do believe I can give you the price for it if nobody else has it.
Isn't it
Zeno, where
5
are you sleeping
silver?
tonight? Yeah, it's 5 silver a night.
Sleep wherever. It doesn't matter if you are So you're definitely putting the tiny hut outside?
Well, I think Nia would definitely, with everything that's happened today and whatnot, especially after hearing how additionally taxed Riot has been with the cursed blade, I think Nia would do what she can to try and ease his mind.
And he's
And
been
she
wanting to
knows
be around
that.
nature.
Yeah, always wanting to be around nature and beneath the stars.
I can pick up some meat from the tavern here, and I can cook us a barbecue outside, underneath the stars.
Well,
Yee. Although I don't know if at midnight we want to be doing some barbecue.
Why not? Sounds great. I'm down.
I mean, Zeno can make what you call it, a bonfire magically, so it won't actually set fire to the ground.
Yeah, bonfire time.
trying to tempt me with the bonfire. Well, I think a bed might sound good tonight for me. Actually, so I mean, if there is that spare bedroom or spare bed, I'll sleep in there. I'll go halfsies with you,
With who?
Melina, right?
Yeah, I'll be in a room.
Yeah.
That's fine. Other than that,
Okay.
I'm gonna rest.
Do you think maybe for future we should look into getting a listening stone as well?
What does that
Any
do?
sending stones?
That one?
I have a pair of
Wait.
sending stones, but that's with
Yeah, but I
Question
meant of
in the
our
library.
own.
It wouldn't hurt.
Because we can't always rely on Julian's telepathy.
Especially over a vast distance.
Yeah.
Just one another
That's
sending
work.
spell. Yeah.
Doesn't Melina have a sending spell now?
No, I don't have sending.
Oh, I thought you might have taken it.
No.
She can. She's a bard. Bards, cleric, wizards.
Yeah, Melina's a wizard.
Oh, by the way, Riot, Melina, how high is your are your spell slots? What's your highest spell slot?
Level 4.
Yeah, everyone should have 4.
4, yeah.
Not
Yeah,
everyone, but yeah.
so Riot and I were discussing earlier about how actually the invisibility spell you can upcast it, and we can actually cast at the 4th level. You can affect 3 people with one casting. And we
Now,
have
Um,
to.
no,
I don't
make,
think you
make
can upcast spells with items.
correct.
Can you?
So whenever you
Okay.
cast a spell, if it doesn't specify, it will cast the original level. If it is upcastable, it will specify in the item.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's why you want to learn spells
Bad.
yourself, yeah. Or, make a scroll. That's also an option.
Before you guys all leave my room, Julian will take off his amulet, hold it out, and say, Zeno, you wanted it? Looks like I won't be needing it tonight.
Sure, I'll take it. But the premise of me asking for it is just to see if if Melina could make use of it with the ability to use those reactions. That's really what it came down to, is really the reactions to remove certain conditions, as well as the AC.
I believe that Melina already has enough on her plate in regards to reactions. I think it'd be best held by either yourself or I in combat.
Oh,
Again, I
All
mean,
right.
sure. I take it. I take it. I think that we need to just discuss this further. Just because
Okay.
there's some great advantages to this thing that we should be using.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can talk about it. I don't mind taking it, holding on to it, and like you said, tapping into its potential. It's kind of woven itself around all of us, so we can all benefit from it, but yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm not very strong and sturdy on my own, having to rely on sitting behind everyone and using you guys kind of as shields, but as long as I can remain in control of the battlefield and use what I have, I mean, I can always keep everyone safer.
as we're getting ready to take our rest, we're kind of gearing down here. Nia brings up, since we've been talking about disguises and invisibility and how do we get about knowing some of this knowledge, as we are in a very diverse city now, I think it would be wise for Nia on these long rests to start making disguises. Because that we have the bag of holding, we can have more than one. So do you guys have like a particular, whether it's a guard or the uniform of a specific group, or even if it's just like an urchin or a merchant, like do you guys have like ideas for what would be good disguises we might want to start accumulating?
Having a disguise with somebody into the Vermilion Dream might be interesting.
I think that is a good idea. Yeah, getting disguised for Vermilion Dream. I think that for the most part, though, when we're disguising ourselves, we just don't want people to know who we are. Wanting to look like another specific person isn't really, most of the time, isn't what we're aiming for. So things like masks or any other like kinds of like face coverings and stuff like that would be great.
That sounds fun. I'm gonna say Nia, whatever materials because you need materials. Whatever materials you don't have on hand, you can rest for your 6 hours that you need to sleep, and then come early morning, chop around in the circle to walk in a place that Moshi will be able to point you there. Yeah. It's called Delirian Linen. It's a just total random, seemingly linen shop that you'll be able to pick up what you need along the lines of masks as well as sort of like side stalls. Just for the sake of funsies, if we're doing masks, what did you have in mind?
Noni mask.
Like masquerade masks, animal masks, baroque, something fancy, something to give you more character, so to speak.
I don't know, Julian. Bath was your suggestion. What do you have in mind?
Anything that would cover our entire face, basically. For you, I think something, and Melina maybe. I think something more. Actually, for you, Melina and Riot, I think something more, like a helmet would be better.
Riot's just
it's
gonna use
obvious what race you are.
Riot will just use a bonus action.
Yeah.
And change his entire outfit to where his head looks like he has like one of those like I don't want to say hijabs, but he has like one of those like Arabic headdresses that cover everything but his eyes.
A black ringlet that covers the brow area, a piece of cloth that drapes over your ears, and like something over your mouth, like a kafia.
Yeah, like that. And then like he's gonna like that will be like a purple, and then he will have his outfit fall down to be a big heavy cloak, and it'll be like a gold trim with deep purple and some blue, like light blue thrown all through it as almost a nice heavy long dress down to his waist, and then nice like matching pants that kind of balloon out again, and his tail would just wrap around his body and
like a belt.
Yeah.
That's cute. And this is, of course, you planning, not doing it yet. Whenever it's going to happen, you're going to do that.
He's just showing off that I can change myself.
Is this like using disguise self or something?
This is using my cloak of fabulous...
Many fashions, right, yeah.
Many fashions.
There you go. Unlimited uses of that, yeah.
Cool.
And then in another little blink, he'll switch back to his Aladdin clothes. I can change.
Nice.
Okay.
So that's really useful, but you can see what I mean when I say that a disguise can be much more, and we can, especially if we attempt to gain information, being able to have a little bit of perhaps built-in trust just based on what you look like, and not because I don't know about you, but if someone showed up to me in a mask, I would think they're massive sus.
I like the idea that was suggested before about disguises of the Vermilion Dream. Maybe Mershade can get you some like Vermilion Dream tags or something.
Yeah, well, I can create them, so we don't need to steal them or anything. I can just make them.
Okay.
That's kind of the benefit, and because that we have the bag of holding, we can usually I can only have one of these because otherwise, obviously, if I have a bag full of like 5 different guild or clans or whatnot, it's like I said, sus. So, but since we have the bag of holding, no one's going to be able to see how many disguises we have. So I think it might be good and wise, especially in a city this diverse, to start building up a wardrobe.
Yeah, I'll have to put some ideas together. Maybe I don't know, a couple of what's it called? Personality traits I'll have to maybe adopt if we are to go to these markets or try to infiltrate something, possibly the Vermilion Dream. Let me put a small list together. And I'll give you some stuff over chat or something.
Sure. So do we want to start with Vermilion Dream? Because like it's one per long rest.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Start with Vermilion Dream.
Cool. At the minimum, you try and shape it based off pure recall from other members that you've seen, right? Unless you wish to append anything else to it, I'll make you roll for that. But at the minimum, you create it as you've seen it off memory.
Can Rai just recreate it by changing his outfit that from Aloysia and everything like that he's seen and show a Neem's
Same.
outfit?
Through memory, yeah.
Okay.
Because you guys were like discussing things like badges and stuff, and I'm like, I don't think you guys ever saw any badges that I described.
Not for Million Dream, no.
No.
No. For now, because I can always add to these costumes later, and in a quick pinch too, we can make small changes, well, medium changes, in as little as 10 minutes. So,
all in all, you go ahead and pick and justify, if you want, a skill that you think will be appropriate to use to make this disguise of the course of your long rest, and go ahead and give me a roll using the bonus of that said skill. You can pick from an area of your skills as long as it's appropriate somehow.
My sister, by like trying to recreate off the knowledge of my own of what they had as outfits.
If you wish to do nothing else during your long rest, which we are, I'm assuming, taking, then sure, yeah, you'll be concentrating on making a disguise with her, giving her advantage.
Can I use?
Yeah, he does want to kind of meditate, actually, yeah, so he wouldn't be able to.
Choose.
Can I use sleight of hand, since this is a very dexterous thing, as well as memory and I had another item on my list of reasons I could use this one. I'm gonna use the word sneaky, which is what sleight of hand does.
You can use sleight of hand for the sake of not messing up the garment as you're sewing and putting it together, for sure.
Yeah.
Opting for your dexterity, go ahead and give me the rule.
Yeah, and Riot, are you helping me?
No, I want to do meditation.
Oh, okay.
Sure. 20 is just what you needed. Nice.
Yeah, 20, because I did not have advantage. I just forgot to turn it off.
You are quite impressed with yourself. You, Megan, you know what it's like to take it slow and with care to shape something of your own, and so does your character. You take the time in the last 2 hours of dawn to shape and put together this perfect copy of Elogia Teflin's robe, the semi-mask she was wearing, the bonnet hat, all in those vermilion colors, and it's pretty convincing. The DC was 20, by the way. So, good job.
Oh yeah, because I actually had it on disadvantage.
That's fine. I'm taking the first roll. Alright then. So that's done. Riot, you're meditating. Anything?
Yeah, he's gonna cook some food, and then he's gonna meditate and more or less call out to the wild mother, and kind of ask for a sign, guidance in the path forward, if he's actually going in the correct direction that he was meant to.
Okay. What are you? What is this? Sorry.
He's given from everything that's occurred, from Port Damali, Bazozan, what his own wishes are to do here in Ank'Harel. Is he doing kind of the wishes of what she had wanted?
I understand. What I'm asking is, off your sheet, what is this? Are you using a spell right now, or is this...
He's not using a spell. He's just trying to commune with nature. Just literally try to listen, see if there's a feeling or something that comes on. I don't have any spells like communion or anything like that like clerics do. He's trying to look for nature to speak to him, basically. He's trying to listen and, I guess, trying to find himself to be at peace. Like, I don't have anything on my list that would assist with this. Except for guidance, and I mean, that doesn't work for this. He's just trying to see if he can connect with her on a simple basis. Being in the vicinity of nature, being around the tree of hers.
You certainly are in your element here. And while you do meditate to the sound of early songbirds, to flowing water, and various other skittering creatures throughout that add sound to the brush, the silence through meditation is yours to interpret as you will. There is no direct voice communicating back, but as you feel the cool breeze of morning desert air passing by, it is different from Bazan, where you did not feel connected to nature whatsoever. Melora is here, in spirit, with you, guiding you as she can. But no message carries upon that wind.
Yeah.
Because above the table, to be fair, it has to be something that you hone into as a druid, right?
I know, he has nothing yet. He's trying to learn. The one person he was going to learn from died in Bazan.
There's always other chances. As you meditate and Nia works under her disguise, does anybody wish to do anything special during this long rest before I call morning?
Off the top of my head, no. Just, it's already late, so Melina's gonna just try and crash, get rested up. That's really about it for her.
Okay. Anthony?
No, just doing my 4 hours of meditation, and that's about it.
Okay. And Lorian?
Once morning hits, I'll be sure to touch myself, give myself that advantage.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
What?
I'll throw it in real funny.
Okay. And Lorian, once again, come morning, you have that recurring dream of yours, this time a little bit more intense. Just like the time you dozed off earlier in the day, it comes to you again. The same message, those same depths, the same wounded creature, the same bright orange slitted eyes taking the place of celestial objects in the sky staring down upon you, and the same echoing call in your mind as you wake up. Find my son. Come dawn, you all rise. I'm down to keep going with the session if you guys are, but it's really your call.
I'd actually like to end it.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm getting drowsy myself.
All right.
Yeah, I gotta go to make some lunches.
Did you find your cat?
Yeah, she was in the storage room. We have a storage room that there's no actual lock for or door handle, but if they push it open, they can't actually get back out. So the wife was looking for her and couldn't find her, so I had to quickly go jump, and I went and did what you normally do, tap the tune of the spoon for dinner time, and she didn't come, so the only area I could think of her being trapped in was down here, and she happened to be in a very, very cold storage room. So
Poor
I was
baby.
happy we found her. One of our cats got trapped in there when we were both at work for like 8 hours. It was unlucky.
And then you got her, and she's like, my hero.
She ran to Mummy, not me.
No. Oh. Rude.
Mummy's kitty.
But Mummy knows the best.
Absolutely.
Oh, we have a lot to accomplish for our group.
Oh yeah, but I think this session was really, really important for us because I think it helped ground us a little bit in all of the things that have been happening. It is, in a way, kind of helped everyone catch up on being like, okay, we have a to-do list and we need to figure out how we want to tackle it. And also maybe how perhaps some of them maybe relate to others. So, and maybe doing some multitasking.
Yeah, I would say either like right now or just in this coming week, like let's really try to solidify what we're trying to do. And kind of maybe try to make like a little bit of like a ramshackled timeline of what we kind of maybe want to accomplish, or be like, well, hey, let's go do this. Let's check in here. Let's knock off some quick things like, I don't know. If you want to do some like RP and all that, like it's totally cool. Shopping stuff, I'm personally good with just handling that over RP chat, rather than dedicating like 20-30 minutes to it. But that's just me. But as far as tomorrow morning goes, where is everyone thinking about like what you would want to accomplish with everything that we have?
I think it's time that we finally go visit the Cobalt Soul.
I second it.
Yeah, Riot would like to go to Cobalt Soul because he wants to know some more information about John Sword as well, the Emperor, because he definitely does want to speak to him. And he wants to know information about it, plus also that's also in the exact same area as the Dust Maven.
Julian, Zena, what do you think?
To me, it makes the most sense to go to the Cobalt Soul. I mean, that was something that was talked about long before we ever arrived here.
Julian?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Then I say we'll go to the Cobalt, talk to the curator, just update them on what we found. Maybe they have something, and everything. The sky ship just came in, so we can kind of maybe just check in, see what happened with Sora, or what they're preparing for. Maybe they have something that they need of us.
Yeah, and I know Nia had some books she wanted to add to their archives. And Riot, didn't you have something you wanted to give to them, or was it Nia or Melina? Someone else. Melina.
I'm thinking. Well, I do have their cloak of protection, but we'll see how they want to handle that.
Given that to question to be able to return that to Zora's family.
Yeah, we'll see what they want to do with it. I wouldn't mind keeping it, but I'm also not a curator, so we'll see what they say.
If I remember correctly, isn't Question also here? Because didn't Question go through with Prolix?
He already went back to the Cobalt Soul.
Yeah, she's already back. She gave us the Sending Stone.
So we could also always try to catch up with her as well when we go visit them.
Yeah, what I was thinking about doing is when we wake up tomorrow morning, we'll do a little bit of tidying up, or really quick things you might want to do, and then we'll message her and be like, hey, we're on our way. It'll take us X amount of time to get there, and
So, I will one-up you on that, Melina.
Okay.
Come next morning, as you make your preparations, whatever they may be, you feel a vibration in your robe pocket and hear a muffled woman's voice from within call out. This is Curator Sura Silmaris. Still interested in joining the Cobalt Soul? Meet me at the Temple of Dementor. I have a mission for you. I was going to do that come morning anyway, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Sura's alive.
Oh, yes.
Well, there we are.
Remember how I told you your actions have consequences? That can be good consequences as well.
So it sounds like they Question was able to get Sora resurrected.
Excellent.
That's good news. That's dope.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then they also have the power to do that too, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So-
maybe if one of us dies, and if we can get back fast enough, and if we enter the Cobalt Soul, or if you guys would like to, be like, oh, hey, look, there are members. Let's help them out. Get resurrected.
Infinite lives.
Yeah.
There's
Infinite
probably a
one-up.
limit. Yeah.
Mia's just like, yay, one more security blanket. One more security blanket to not lose knowledge if she dies.
I was holding on to that for a real long time. You guys were starting to like discuss her actual cloak and everything. I'm like, well, might as well tell him before they start making plans around something I'm going to introduce in the beginning of the session anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, but I know I pronounce her name wrong all the time. I say Sora, but is it like Sura?
Sura.
Sura
Sura.
Silmaris. And this just goes to show, sort of answer what you asked me before, Nick. Like way before, like in Bazan, you were like, "What happens if we don't find the Cobalt Soul? You don't have Sura."
Yeah.
Every action is an avenue. That's a door that opens to an avenue of another one, right? Doesn't have to be always like, oh, you offended a faction, therefore that door is closed. Sometimes it's good, and I like that. That's what I like about this sort of dynamic adventure. All right, sounds to me like everybody's ready to sort of part ways. Of course, if anybody has any feedback, I always appreciate it, be it good or bad. Questions?
No,
Yeah, I think Nia and Riot are gonna go out to the glades there and go have tent time. Well,
Yeah, Red's
not
gonna
tent
make some
time,
food and
tent
make some treats.
Sounds
yeah,
good.
and we're gonna make a disguise and look at the stars.
Nice.
Well, I will
Does your
even-
little orb thing, Riot, work anywhere, or just when it's in one of those little?
Board?
Or
No,
only when
Riot,
it's in fire?
Riot was gonna make a light and let stars shine above.
Oh.
Well, I have a candle, and with my prestidigitation, I can light it. So at the very least, we can have like a candle.
That works. It just needs a light source.
Sounds romantic.
Well, if
Go
it just
catch
needs a
some
light source,
fireflies.
if it just
Yeah,
needs a light
true.
source, can you not just use the drift globe?
Actually, I could.
Yeah.
Fine, use the drift globe, not use one of my candles. I only have so many of those.
Candles are important.
Yeah, if you want to get that fixed too, we can go do that like real quick in the morning. Just like drop off the item or something and be like, yo, can you fix this? See what their price is if you want to get the daylight with it.
You can handle it
Yeah.
over RP chat if you want to visit Gilmore's.
I want to go to Gilmore's so badly. I
Yeah,
want to
so
see
maybe-
Gilmore's. See, Gilmore's is the only shop I really want to go in person in session, because if Gilmore is there, this would be a fabulous shop.
There's
to go
that,
to.
and also Minos' tattoo shop. Or is that no longer in your short-term plan? This is more
The
like
Percy one. I
Well,
want to
no,
go to that one.
the tattoo shop in the Sun Herald district that you asked me about. Tattoo?
I'm gonna-
Gem tattoos? Okay, see you, Lorraine.
I'm gonna get off now. Good night, guys.
All right,
Good night.
later.
Bye.
Are you talking to Lauren or?
No,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
talking to. Remember you told me about the gem tattoos that you wanted, and I told you like
yeah, I
there's a
don't know if I can. I don't know if I'll have enough for that though.
fair enough.
Yeah, because those were hella expensive.
That's
weren't
the only
they?
issue. Like if
Yeah.
it was just like 2,000, then I could get it. Like 2,400, and I
Alright.
can get it. But I can't. I don't have enough persuasion to
Sounds
drop
Well,
it.
Also remember that I think probably on the agenda for tomorrow would be some evening casinos.
Well, before that, Riot would like to see something about the sword.
Well, I'm thinking. Well,
it's probably for the
this is just
best too,
me
because if he gets out of control, then he can harm his party mates. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Also,
Like-
if they say I have to take my sword away, and to be honest,
they.
Riot can't
Oh,
let
yeah.
that out of his hands. He will punch them and cause a fight and go to jail.
Hmm.
When I was trying to let everybody know like how much he can't let the sword out of his hands, it's like if someone tried to take it from him, he would fight him for it.
What if you put it in the bag of holding and then hold the bag of holding?
He cannot
Doesn't
part
work
with it.
that way. I can't
What?
part from it.
He cannot
Aw.
part with it. The spirit in the sword is afraid of being left alone.
And Riot feels akin to that, to be
Yeah.
honest.
So maybe
So-
Cobalt Soul, the graveyard, and then maybe some shopping.
Graveyard.
Graveyard. I
The
mean,
graveyard,
Somebody did not watch the Critical Role show. Do you know what a flock is?
What is it called?
At the
Dust
necropolis.
Necropolis,
Yeah.
which is essentially a graveyard.
Don't
No,
yell
it's
at me.
not.
You'll see it. I'm right.
See, this is the fun thing, is I love the Raven Queen so much. My very first character I ever made for D&D was like a follower of the Maven.
The Maven.
So I'm
yeah.
gonna love this, because I was even thinking that the next character, if Riot dies, has something to deal with the Raven Queen.
Are you gonna do the baptism? Baptism of blood?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh yeah, I speak to my god by meditating. I speak to my god by doing a prayer. I speak to my god by killing myself. Like, it's great. I love the Raven Queen.
Yeah. I mean,
I need
yeah,
to,
like
Bring you back
anybody
every
has
time.
I need to literally stop my heart every time by drowning myself. It's stuck the Raven Queen. That's just awesome. That's why
I
he
think
was
it's
saying, like,
pretty
if you're
badass.
gonna go there to talk to the flock, they're not for everybody. So make sure you're ready.
Oh, Riot is already ready for that. If Riot does go ahead and do
Right,
that
is
and everything,
so ready to die, dude. You don't even know.
well, you know what? Like
Yeah.
rice pudding, the memories of his family, everything with Port Damali, like he feels like his almost atonement at this point. If they told him
Ooh.
he had to go in there,
DM writes notes.
Oh my God.
Rice
Don't
pudding.
give him
Torture
ideas,
Riot
Although,
with her
like you said,
spirit.
it would fit your character.
Riot's already getting torturing himself by that.
Yeah.
I'm so sad. My
But, like-
Discord has 2 names, and I've yet to be able to play with that second character.
Hmm?
Oh, she's
I-
talking about the baby shanks, I think.
Yeah, I'm so sad. They've had 3 sessions, and I haven't been able to go to any of them.
Oh my god, I'm kind of terrified what you're going to have in store for Riot when you go to the Dust Maven, but I'm going to love it in like actual like real life.
So for the sake of the costume, you made pretty much this little robe. With a completely with the ringlets, the belt around the arm, the bonnet thing. It's pretty cool.
So what I've
Tassels.
done on my sheet, since if I'm gonna start making a wardrobe of disguises, is I've added it to
Feet.
my
Yeah.
feats and features or traits.
That works.
And I just kind of have like a list and the basic information about the disguise kit because the whole thing is massively long. So I just kept that in my items.
Sounds good.
So in my it looks like that.
Oh, I never noticed that
Right
you can actually
now-
see Aloysius' weapon on her in that picture. You can actually see the
Yeah.
whip.
Yeah, you can.
That's awesome. I love the art in this module. You can even see Prolix's wand. That's awesome. It's like little subtle things.
Use a shovel.
Yeah, he's an archaeologist.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna be able to like I'm just at the top of it there. I have like disguises, and I just have Vermilion Dream garb, and then I can add to it as we add to our wardrobe.
Yeah. For sure. Alrighty then.
So I'm going with the DC was 20 because it's something about. But why was it DC 20? Because the DC 20 listed here is for copying a humanoid's appearance.
Yeah, you're copying Aloysius' appearance.
Wouldn't that also make? Does the sky kit not also like magical also in nature? And when it
No.
says copy a humanoid's like appearance, that like includes like because you're using makeup and dye and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, but it's not magical. It's not magical. It's not a magic item. There are magic items that help you with disguise and stuff.
You know what? I
Like-
feel like she wants the painting tools that Jester has.
That's not the same. There's like the hat disguise, for example, is more close to what she's talking about, where it's like magical disguise that there's no DC there. There's a DC because it's a tool proficiency that you need to be proficient in and roll for it, and it can still succeed with a lesser degree, or fail by 5 or more, or fail by 10 and more. Essentially, the reason why I'm making a rule, if you're curious, is because if somebody's going to try to insight check you to see if it's a disguise, that's the DC they're going to roll against. 20 in your case. If it was lower, the DC becomes lower.
Okay. That makes sense. I use sleight of hand because it's my highest rolling, so
Sure.
8. I get +8, so the worst I can do is 9. So on a natural 1.
Right. Which can still succeed against somebody who's not especially perceptive or insightful.
Mhm. So, like I said, that's why I was trying to use that one. And I don't get to use it very often right now, so I'm looking forward to getting to use it. And I know
The more
I
checks
meant
you do, great.
I meant to bring it up, and I know, and like I said, I'm hoping to be able to use these features that I have in Nia. Hopefully, we'll see. If the scenario doesn't pass us by, then fine. Sorry, that is totally fine.
In
But
whose
like
hands is this?
me, that's what I'm saying. I'm
Exactly.
saying to group. But
I don't know what
idea
scenario you're
kind of
talking about.
Any.
but idea kind of behind like these disguises, and then also for Nia that works really well would be her skills, like either words of terror or more useful would be like suggestion. So I was actually almost going to suggest like that we use suggestion on Rashid to go and like find out information that he otherwise
The one
wouldn't.
time you could have intimidated somebody who's not being cooperative and you don't use it. And I will not tell you how to play, but I'm sitting here like, what's your plan, guys? You're just gonna ask a potential contact for a
Being
guild of
nice to
assassins, show me your
Rashid.
friends? I'm like, he's not gonna show your shit if you're just gonna ask him. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get any more than Thief's Cantrip, I guess, so I'll give Thief's Cantrip back, but of course, you utilize your skills as you will.
Yeah, so I'm.
You want
yeah,
a city,
so
I
I'm
gave you a
thinking-
city.
So I'm thinking, especially if we're going to be going on this like investigation kind of route, if we do, whether we do it super subtle, I'm a spy, like Julian suggested, which is invisibility and just disguises to blend in, then that's fine. But if we want to be a little bit more active and look for questions and interact with people in our search, then between the disguises and suggestion in particular, or words of terror if we want to be a little scary, or horrifying, those are both spells and traits that I can use to hopefully help us get information. Where suggestion you can get them to do stuff, whereas words of terror is just get information. So
Yeah. I
Paris
will leave it in your hands. The whole party, be it Nia, be it Julian, whatever it is your characters can actually do. I welcome the sort of roleplay. I just ask for a little bit of effort. That's all I ask. Because otherwise, the veil would not be the veil if anybody could just ask for it, without proving themselves. Like, who are you to Rashid, right? Sort of thing.
I could also use a combination of speak with animals and suggestion.
That would work. You could, absolutely, and I welcome you too. If you want to do it over RP, I would prefer to do it over session. I think the biggest hurdle right now is that the party just cannot agree what they want to do.
Sure.
If we resolve that by next week, then I really welcome you guys to rule, to act, to see what happens. I've made like 30 pages worth of preparation. Just whatever it is you guys do, I have things prepared. I'm excited to do it. I just can't speak until people decide what they want to do. So hopefully we'll figure it out.
Well, at least it seems we have a consensus there for in the morning. So
At least next session, we know what we're going to be doing, at least at the beginning.
And I'll say this: at the end of the day, majority rules. I know if I play in a party, majority wants to do one thing. Even if I'm against it, I'll still play a character who wants to be part of the party. Play a character who wants to be liked by the party, because as soon as you're not cooperating with the party and you're not liking the party's gonna kick you out. That's just how D&D works. And so I personally work with the party, even if they're doing something that I don't disagree with, even if it's going to end up with a "I told you so." At least we did something. Otherwise, it's 3 hours of decision paralysis, and I don't know about you guys. I personally would rather do other things, like play the adventure and stuff. So hopefully you guys figure it out. We'll be around all week. I'll be keeping an eye on Discord and stuff. And last thing I'm gonna say before, probably a lot of you guys want to go to bed and stuff. is I'm done my university term, aside from running the other campaign and do my job pretty much, which is only days. During nights, I'm free, and I really want to do like a game night, be it tabletop simulator, some board games, or like I can do board games here on Roll20. If you guys choose a game, I can definitely implement it on Roll20, and we can play that like that. Jackbox, I can stream that. I would be so down to play a group game with just this group, because I think I will like act as both just a fun night and also like a bonding moment. If anybody here plays poker, we can play poker. Obviously, no money, just chips. Spend time outside of the D&D session, just talk. I'm down if you are. So I'll be keeping an eye on Discord and stuff. But if anybody
go
else,
back to school.
September.
Oh, so you got a lot of time then.
Yeah, I'm taking summer off. I could have taken more classes, but I don't have the money for that because it's like $3K a term. Even if I like take just like one class, it's $3K. It's insane.
Yeah.
So I'm just paying off school right now. But it's cool. I'm done with my exams. So that's why I'm in such a high mood today. I finished my finals and I got like 80s all around, and I'm just super hyped. And it's such a stone off my chest. And just there was a whole bunch of like bullshit with like a strike with the teacher assistants that if you fail the class, it is not a fail, it's unsatisfactory, which is not a pass but doesn't affect your mark. So actually one of my classes that I did not quite pass ended up not affecting my CGPA, so I'm just hyped all around. So I'm just trying to surf from that wave of positive energy and good mood, sort of keep it going and enjoy my summer, and if anybody wants to join me, I'm down. I'll keep looking, Nick, for another campaign for you and I to join if you want. It's
I was
hard.
actually looking. Yeah, I was looking for the last few days, and a lot of the stuff is staying stagnant. It's just the same stuff popping up.
That's why I started DMing because there's nothing. So I was like, I'll do it myself. I just put on the gauntlet,
To be fair, I've only been checking Roll20 because that's sometimes the easiest, because you can see everything really clearly
Where else
on
are we
that
gonna
site
play?
for the most part.
If not Roll20. Where else are we gonna play if not Roll20?
Well, no, I'm saying that's the only place I've looked for games. I know D&D Beyond. I know Roll20 actually does have forums you can go on and ask.
Sure. And there's like
whatever.
the subreddit. I'm checking that too. It's not like we
there's
live in the same
subreddit,
town.
LFG.
So
Yeah.
that's all the options we have. I'm just waiting for something to come up, really.
Yeah. Oh no, Tom. Andrew's gone all week, so if you want to come over and do like dinner and games, welcome. Or if you want me to head out over there, that works too. I work. I usually get home around 5.
Mahjong is weird with just 2 people. No, I'll figure something out.
No, I said games. You don't play
I know.
Mahjong.
I'm just itching for Mahjong. I haven't played Mahjong in forever, and like you're the only person who plays nowadays because
I'm up to my 3 flowers on novice 3-player. It's
Cool.
a very different kind of Mahjong.
It is. It's much more defensive, much more turtled. No, I'm done. We'll figure something out. And same thing with you, Will. If you're still around here, Will, I don't know
I think
who's.
he left already.
No, he's
Yeah.
left.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll figure something out.
Julian
Will.
came back.
Yeah.
What's up?
Hey.
Julian.
Hey. Yeah. So we'll figure that out. In terms of hanging out this week, but yeah, I'm down for doing things. I don't know if people have Tabletop Simulator. I know I'm not gonna make people like pay money for games and stuff. Heck, I'll buy them for them if they're down to play. But again, I'm not gonna drag people, right?
Tabletop Simulator itself, like the base, like free, like if you had Steam or EA or something, and then you just buy the games, something like that.
You don't buy the
Or how
games.
that works.
So you buy just Tabletop Simulator, and then the potential is infinite. If there's a board game out there, somebody probably either implemented it or I can implement it. I know how to make games. So there's a lot of really already games that already work.
You can technically play D&D on it.
I would rather. Yes, you could. I would much rather use Tailspire because I've used Tailspire and it's awesome.
Simulator is on Steam. Okay, that's how that works.
Yes, it is. Like you can, but it's very limited and it's kind of clunky for D&D.
Yeah,
but you could.
It is.
Tailspire, like you can make maps and stuff, and it's 3D environment, and they already come with predetermined like animations and spells. It's the thing about Tailspire too is that it's not tied to just 5e, so you can play anything. I'd much rather play that or the other one. What's the other TTS they have? The other virtual tabletop. It's not Roll20.
Foundry?
Yeah, Foundry is also. I tried Foundry. for that very brief campaign I joined for Rime Frost Maiden. I loved it. It's Roll20 has its pros and cons. I love the resources I have on Roll20, and I wish I could translate them over, but alas. Foundry is just like Roll20 but modernized. It's so much less clunky, and it just feels good.
I actually bought the core rulebook and everything for Savage Worlds, and this weekend I'm gonna go to my storage unit and I'm gonna root through all my boxes and find the Weird War 1, and I'm gonna first try to read the rules and understand them. I've been watching a couple videos to understand, and it's sort of simple, but then it gets a little weird. But a lot of people are saying high praise about it, but I was going to say if I was going to run like a little one-shot to kind of see how the rules work and everything, that I might do it on Foundry. Because the guy who did it, he's like, yeah, I bought the Savage Worlds like stuff, like the compendium, the character sheets, all that stuff, and it looked very streamlined.
I'll try it with you. Again, it's all about just finding people, but if you GM, then that'll be easier than finding a DM.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, dude, you talking about it, I could hear like you're excited and all that. I'm happy for you. I wish you guys talked about that when we were in session, because I'm coming here with like this positive energy, and like everybody's like sad, and I'm like, ugh. Like makes me wish like maybe I should not have actions consequences. It makes everybody so sad, you know. Like I know like imaginary people died and all that, and it's in your character, but I'm like, this is like a playing Curse of Strahd again. Like everyone's just sad all the time. I gotta find a reason to make you guys happy again.
Is
it?
But well, here's the thing.
Right.
You implemented it, and you're like, all right, it's actions consequences, and it's like knowing your actions tied to possibly the deaths of hundreds, if not thousands. It's like that would weigh on someone's soul, and if we're playing an RP game, an RPG, and we're role playing, then I think that's fair to role play, that out. But we didn't like concentrate on it, I don't think, too hard. It's not like I'm so fucking like depressed, so I just can't do anything, and like my character just spirals, and it's like, that's why I was trying to like, all right, let's get some food, let's get some fireworks, let's try to liven it up. So it was like, because I didn't want to. I
ended last session with a bomber, so I was like, festival. Let's throw a little something, a little sprinkle, because I am like, I don't ever want to run like a Curse of Strahd-esque Grimdark again, because I'm sad as is in life sometimes. I don't need that in my D&D games.
Fuck! If I ever try to make my my little mini campaign for the one shots and all that stuff I want to tie together for the idea I gave you for my D&D 5e, like. That's all grimdark. I'm just like,
I'll still play a happy-go-lucky person in a grimdark world.
I think it's good to have that, because you can have people who want to be the authoritarian, people. Like you can also play the people who are just, like happy-go-lucky. Then it makes a good dynamic for that world setting.
I just wish that you guys found, and I'm sure eventually you will, found something in this campaign that I'm so excited to run, and looking forward to where it's going to take, because it's so variable and there's so many branching paths. And I know I said I'm not going to like expound it, but I'm totally expanding on it. Like Julian was like, Lorian was like, oh, is there like an underground criminal element in the city? And I said not the Myriad, and I'm still putting my foot down where the Myriad just doesn't operate. It's a whole other continent. It's not their territory. But then I thought about it, like I should not take a whole background away from him. I should definitely add something with a criminal element. And that little seedling over the week has sprouted into like 15 pages of content. I just wrote down like this quest line, tied it with a Cobalt Soul, I don't want to spoil too many things, but I'm just really excited about it. Like I tied it with other factions and Corel to make it still relevant to story, so it doesn't feel like a side path. Right? It's still something that you guys can undertake as soon as you guys make a decision to go somewhere. And I'm excited to run all that. And I just hope that eventually, once you guys sort of get over the little hiccup of we sold a mass weapon to an unknown entity for money, and we got money for it, and that is not a consequence action. When we get over the hurdle, I'm looking forward to you talking about the campaign with the same excitement you're talking about. Like every time we end a campaign, it's just a whole other Nick. I'm just saying my sort of feedback as a DM.
I definitely want to go and like do the whole Elixian like storyline and everything, and see where everything is going. It seems like everything is tied, or like at least these factions that are here, like because
factions.
Had I
and
not-
the Veil as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because had I not putting myself on a pedestal or whatever, but like had I not interact with the guards, the scar bearers, and like, oh hey, what are you guys protecting it from? What's coming in and out? They're just like, we would have never known about the Sentinels, and I'm like, oh, the fucking Sentinels?
Yeah,
Never
you
would have seen that. I thought it was just
Exactly.
the Vermilion, and so I'm like, that's dope because they want to keep everything in the pit
Yeah.
down below in Calmoral. But I'm like, no, I want to know what's down there, and then I tied my personal goals to it. So I'm like, fuck yeah, get me in there.
That's exactly what you have to do in D&D. Because in D&D, your party will help you develop your character. You will not develop your own character by yourself. That's playing with a DM. That's boring. That's just, it's like, Riot not mentioning he has a cursed weapon. Nobody knows it until it gets revealed, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess. And now it's like a thing now. Versus
I didn't
like,
understand that, but yeah.
I'll explain it if you want, but your party will help you develop your character. The DM will help you develop the world, right? But the DM will not help you develop your character for you, right? That's just sort of that you have to do yourself and with the party. But for sure, ask the NPCs questions around and find out information if you can, and utilize your skills and your position as a character to expand the world, because it's there. It's just not in your face, especially when something illicit like the Veil. Even Murshid is sort of a questionable sort of source. Is aware of certain things, but cannot put himself in the way of like the hands of Ord, right? To expose himself, because what stops, like, for fun's sake, thought experience, what stops Julian from going to a hand of Ord and reporting the city guide to be like, yo, this guy is like direct tourists to like illegal drugs, or telling us where to find a hitman, right? So you have to be careful around those things. That's where like Thieves' Cant comes in, where I tell, like, the rogue understands what this person is saying. Everybody else is hearing something that does not make any more sense. That's sort of how Thieves' Cant works. It's like a sentence like 3 times longer, and it's just gobbledygook.
Yeah.
Yes, I sort of allowed you guys to comment on the casino afterwards, because I don't know why I did that. But technically your characters, not being rogues, would be like, it sounds like a non-answer, or it sounds like gobbledygook. Most likely just a non-answer. I just can't roleplay both at the same time, obviously. And also, Thieves' Cant is hard to roleplay when it comes to verbal, I find.
It is.
Because it's more like, how I understand Thieves' Cant from books is like, oh, you walk into like a bar and you exchange no word with the bartender. You just put like, 2 cerulean coppers with bejeweled, like with a single gem, which is coated for something, and then a bartender like gives you a cup with just water in it, puts 2 sugar cubes and stirs it counterclockwise twice. That is Thieves' Cant. That is a message.
Yeah.
That means something to you. Nobody else interpret that. It's not so much like a verbal, and even like the hobo symbols can be deciphered, which is why I'm careful with doing that whenever I play as a rogue, because cast, understand language, comprehend language once, and it's useless. And the Veil would not be the Veil if you could just comprehend language or like scry on it, right? Somebody was like in chat, like, I think it was you, Nick, who was like, if we go to the Veil and we're being scried on, then we're gonna get in trouble. I'm like, well, think about it. The Veil would not be the Veil if it was not veiled from scrying.
Yeah.
Not saying that as fact, just saying that as a sort of more plausible than the latter, right? Bad thieves get caught, right? The best thieves never get caught. The best criminals are never known, never wanted, right? But we'll figure that out. I'm not gonna go on a whole spiel. Figure out where that goes. And yeah, you're right to say that nothing is irrelevant. Everything is connected, one way or another. You'll see.
Yeah, that's why I want to go down these paths of the all site and library, because maybe there's what one faction has, the other one won't. Like, so you're playing into both their strengths and understanding both weaknesses, but then it's other understanding other motives and just also what the other around the city has to offer.
And the Vale can have their own motives, and you start this campaign working for a criminal syndicate. You know, there's another one here in Acarel. This is just sort of like walking on the same stepping stones that you start this campaign with. It's just that this time you get to play through it, and it's not just part of your background. Why did you work for the Myriad in the first place? Can you apply that same sort of mentality to the Vale? For the same sort of benefit, reward, working for the Cobalt Soul into the illicit elements of the city. For the benefit of knowledge being power, all those values you hold as a character, right? I don't know your sheet, but yeah, we'll see what decisions come.
Yeah,
For sure.
Oh, by the way, for anyone who wants to be my friend on Steam, I put my friend code there.
Neat. I hope you don't mind, Nick, that I did the whole, like, you get contacted by creators through our Solarius come morning. I just did not want you to plan something else all week, and then, like, I reveal that happens, and like, well, fuck, you know?
no, it aligned perfectly because I was
Yeah.
just like,
I literally
because I
already
had
had
put
that
that
in my
in the chat
notes,
this
yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put that in the chat this morning, like, hey, Fate's Fortune, like, do you guys want to like maybe do this, rest, and kind of go do whatever? Because when we got here, question was like, yeah, we'll contact you in like 2-3 days, blah blah blah, and yada yada. And it's
Mhm.
been about 2-3 days. I'm like, well, haven't been contacted yet. Maybe let's just drop in and see what's up.
I
And then you're
literally
like,
contacted
hey,
you as soon as I
bruh.
promised. I said 3 days, and
Yeah.
come third morning, she contacted you as like early dawn. It's just that things happen. The rivals are in motion. The events around the city are in motion. Every time you guys are in one part of the district, other district get development sort of thing. So that also extends to Cobalt Soul and Gaia District and other factions and movement therein. That's what I really like about this fucking sorry, I'm cursing. This module is if you don't join a faction, you're not missing out on events because they will reveal themselves in time because everything is connected. And I love that in movies, I love that in books, especially the branching path ones where like you read a book for the second time but picking different choices and you see how like, oh, like my choices from the first book are also reflected in the choices in the second run sort of thing. So that's awesome. Yeah. Did anybody notice Galceria that I put him on a map in the beginning
I
of the
did.
session? Okay, because
I saw him back there, but like we were just in the middle of things, and I'm just like, look,
fair.
I don't want to have ADD right now because I want to get.
I
through
only
what we
wanted you
need
to see
do.
him. Yeah, I only wanted you to see
Okay.
him. You could have approached him, of course, but like that's ADD. I just wanted you to be like, they're here. Like they didn't just like disappear out of the campaign. They're here. They're about. You glimpsed him, and you're like, oh shit, that was Galceria. That way you can like sort of like alibi place him that night there, sort of thing.
Right. Yeah.
You'll see how that comes in relevant later.
No, I definitely saw it, but I was just like, if I
Yeah.
go over there, it's just gonna open up a can of worms, and I'm just like, we're just having just ADD out the ass. I'm just like, oh no, we're gonna focus on this. Let's just get through this, and then we can move on to the next thing. But then his token removed. I'm like, that's fine because if it wasn't important, then Tom wouldn't have maybe said something. He would have been like, oh hey, as you guys are having this conversation, you see one of the members of the Maroon Six, blah blah blah.
It's just like time is passing. Like we're playing IRL
Yeah,
3
yeah.
hours. We're starting at like dusk fall. It's midnight. He's not gonna stand there for 3 hours waiting for you to approach him, right?
Yeah.
You the party have chosen to focus on your party, which is wonderful. Your reward is to have a glimpse of Galceria. You placed him. He was there. You saw him with another individual. You don't know who that individual was, but at least if that becomes relevant later on, you'll be able to be like say that he was there. If you catch him a lie, or you need to place him, or he goes missing, or whatever happens, right?
Yeah.
I have all the rivals moving all the time. I have like a table of like where they are in the city because they have like, their own like schedules, like anybody, right? Like anybody ever.
Yeah.
So like I literally have them like moving around all the time. It's just that the party spent like 3 hours in the below the bows of the wild melt, and we're like, well, people are moving.
Makes sense.
Recurring faces.
Also,
What's
with
up?
your DM expertise, I'm totally shifting topics just because I have ADD, and I'm gonna forget if I don't get it out. So in that campaign that I'm gonna read about Savage Worlds,
Right.
remember like how you were talking about in Curse of Strahd, when we were fighting the Kraken, and you were like, "Yeah, I want him to kind of telegraph his attacks, like
Yes.
they're big and sweeping, but you're gonna telegraph them." How do I put this into words? You're in the trenches of World War One.
Mm-hmm.
Enemy opposition comes to attack you. You fend them off, and you're like, "All right, boys, over the wire. We're gonna go counterattack." And now you're running through no man's land. Is it like too gamey to be like, "Oh, hey, you know a mortar is gonna land next to you"?
Absolutely not. You hear the whistle. You can hear mortars coming.
Yeah.
You can. As a character, I don't know how the game works, but I would absolutely go prone if I hear a mortar coming. At least I can't dodge a mortar. I can't glance up and see a mortar coming. It's moving way too fast. I don't know if you ever seen a mortar drop. I have. In Israel. Yeah, and you've been in the army. Exactly. I don't think you can see a mortar unless you can see the. I don't know. Can you see the arc from distance? I don't think so. But you can definitely hear it and go prone and cover your head, and maybe that gives you like whatever the equivalent like advantage to defend against it, right?
Yeah, they do have that cover system.
You can also flavor it where it's, for whatever reason, maybe it's like an intimidation technique. It's a tracer mortar, right? It has like a little light trace or like a smoke signal. Maybe it's a gas mortar, and you can see the smoke trail as the gas gets launched up and like arcs, and you're like, oh shit, and like rule for trajectory. Like you're an engineer, you have like insight in this. You know it's gonna land in that general area. Maybe you can like throw somebody out of the way, cover them. Get out your giant shield, announce masks, you know, like gas, whatever. I just don't know how the game works, what sort of weapon systems are there, but if you want to make it traceable, you can.
Yeah, because my biggest question was like, okay, I don't want to like put a little red square down, like in a little like target a square, and then in a 5 foot around that square, the mortar shell does damage, and I'm like, that's cool, but it also, I feel like it's like the players would never know like where they're gonna go, so that might feel cheap, but at the same time, it's like that's real life though. You have no idea, and I want to build that like fear and that tension of like going over the wire and
sounds
shit.
to me like a skill check, right?
Yeah,
akin to how the Death House, where you make them rule, and based on how low the rule is, if they're within like a threshold, they get hit. It misses them, barely misses them, or far misses them, right? And you get to describe a scene depending on the roll. It's not so much that you have to pick a specific point on the map. You make the roll first, and then that roll determines where it lands on the map, away from them.
That makes sense. Okay.
That's what I
Because I was just putting a couple things together, like for a little one shot, just ideas, and I'm just like, man,
skill checks
fucking sick.
Are sick when you want to make the party cohesive as a unit, but also not roll them into like straight up initiative. Just be like, turn by turn. You guys get to use up to 2 skills to aid your fellow party mates. You cannot use the same skills twice. There's a whole bunch of like 5e rules for skill checks. I don't know if there are skill checks in that system, but you can definitely implement something like that, where you just do like event, skill checks, and that sort of progresses them. They collect failures and successes. After a certain amount of successes, they make the charge or whatever comes next. A certain amount of failures, somebody suffers like a casualty, some event happens. I usually don't put a cap on failures. I just like, you fail, you have to try again, and they have to reach a certain amount of successes before the scene moves onward. That's usually how I round skill checks.
Yeah. Because I was just thinking of a bunch of random stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, if we're kind of going like, because it's World War weird. That's the thing. It's like, there could be vampires, there could be undead, it could be aberrations, and whatever is in the book in the supplement. But I was just thinking of stuff like how to break that in and be like, oh man, that'd be like a really cool system. But it's also like, people just gotta like that kind of setting to be like, oh, hey, I want to play in World War One, and I'm gonna play. You're probably gonna play a human. Everyone's probably gonna play a human.
That's not the issue. The issue is who I'm playing with. That's my biggest issue.
Yeah.
The setting, I'm down to try.
I would like other people to in this server to maybe branch out and be like, yeah, I wouldn't mind learning a new system, because a lot of people, they call it Suede. It's the newer edition of Savage Worlds. And they're just like, yeah, like combat, it's fast, you don't get bogged down, it's got a lot of high praise. It's just learning a new system entirely.
I just noticed that Megan just like fell asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Good night.
Good night.
But No, I do want to try a bunch of stuff. Like my buddy, when we were first getting into 5e, I was like, yeah, we're gonna play 5e because we actually first started on Pathfinder first edition. But it was like it's a little crunchy, and we're just like that's fine. But like he was like, well, D&D 5e is like the most popular one. Let's give that a shot. So we did. We liked it, and we stayed with it. He wanted to just go try every other system known to man, and it was like literally every week trying to learn a brand new system. And I'm like, bro, I cannot keep up. Like, fuck, man. He just reads and reads, and I'm like, that's great, but like, I want to dedicate a little bit of time to something to really understand it than just jumping around. But I wouldn't mind learning a new system to kind of just change up the settings. Savage Worlds allows you to do World War Weird, you can do Wild West, you can do space, superpowers, and all this stuff. So it's very adaptable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just thinking about a lot of ideas, and I'm like, yeah, I got them brain juices flowing. And then I'm starting to put together a little bit of a timeline for that one shot I want to do for D&D 5e, the little horrors campaign. I still have to get a name for it, but a little bit of inspiration here and there.
Sounds good. I'm down to try it. Man. I'll tell everybody in chat, but next week's session is gonna start an hour later than usual because I have a 12-hour.
Yeah, you did say that.
Yep. Hopefully, we will be able to use that time wisely. Alrighty.